stop the screen, please. Help me get some people in here, or whatever. I mean, you all can sit here in silence if you want. JD, did you come yell at me? Oh no, you're probably working. I don't know. I was just on junk all morning, and Civics and B joined me there as well as Ling Ling. She was there. That's why I jumped up on the panel. It was pretty fun. Debo Steele. I was trying to, he invited me over to like a Brian for Liberty or some guy like that. I can't remember. I think that was his name, Brian for Liberty. I went over there and tried to get on his panel with him and talk to him about some libertarian bullshit too, but he didn't bring me up. Fred is funny. I love fucking with Fred. Super fan Daddy She. Who the hell's Daddy She? Daddy She. Um, are you lib tears? Is that who you are? Oh, my daily beating.
Ah, you're in the algorithm. It's pushing you through. Like you must have just got on or something.
I did just get on.
Uh,
Yes.
I still think it's weird that I don't follow you, and I haven't been on in a couple of days, but yet it recommends you. So, which that's all
Because
right.
I'm
I mean,
it's because I'm wonderful and you love me.
and TikTok has a way of demoralizing people and making them really not want to express their thoughts, and then at some point make them start their own live. And it's just, I'm telling you this, Mojo, like it's data mining after data mining. And we're living in a reality where they don't care what the data is, as long as they can get you to speak it, it's going to be mined.
Yeah, I
And
don't care about that
I don't
either.
know if that's, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Why should we care about that?
Well, why should I care about your Marxisms or your thoughts in general?
You don't have
If
to.
the AI, if the AI doesn't care about your thoughts, why should me and you sit here and worry about each other's thoughts and why we need to have this thought over that thought? What's the purpose?
I don't worry about your thoughts. Why do you worry about mine?
Well, I'm just telling you, in the grand scheme of things, neither of our thoughts impact what they're going to do.
I don't know who they are, but whatever.
I don't know
I
who they
do.
are either, but who are you and your Marxist views? Like who are the ones that you believed back in the day that wrote books and you believe it? And there are
Um,
people that follow the King James book and they believe that, and you believe the people that you have read in your studies,
no,
and you can't
no,
tell each other you're
I don't.
wrong.
I don't. I don't believe everything Marx said. I don't really care about what everything Marx said. I have a philosophy of
Right.
my own. It happens to be based on
That's good.
Marx, but that's it.
Yeah, and I believe Ted Kaczynski, the guy that did the Unabomber, you know,
Yeah.
his manifesto was spot on.
Yeah, I don't doubt that you believe that
But
shit.
I can't. Well, I disagree with his actions as far as physical, what he did to push whatever. Him creating things that unalive people. That's ignorant. Like that makes what he said in his manifesto like pointless. Well, because why? If a guy did an action, but his thoughts said something different, like now you can't talk about that guy because he unalived people. Well, I choose not to do that, and then
Who told you can't talk about him?
No, I'm talking about in general because you know how people view things. Like I voted for Trump, so I'm MAGA. Well, I'm just not going to vote
Yeah.
for the other side. Like I'm not MAGA
Well, and I would
because I
simply
voted
ask
for the
you why. Why not
because
vote
of the
for
lesser of
Democrats?
the evil.
What is the
The
evil
lesser
that
of the
you're?
evil.
What is the evil you're speaking of?
Well, we live in a society where if my wife is pregnant and someone unalives her, they get charged with double homicide. But if I'm
I don't
if
agree. I think that depends on what state you're in.
well, but it is double homicide.
In
You know,
some
it is.
states,
Well,
not in
yeah,
all
but I
states.
value life. I know what a human is. Now,
I,
what's your
I don't
socially
think you
constructed?
value life at all.
I'm pro-life. What do you mean? I
I
don't
don't.
think you should just have sex and then unalive the baby because you're emotional about it.
Will
Now,
you will
if you
you
get
give money
raped
to
or
the
something,
government to feed people that are hungry?
it's not my responsibility
Okay,
to
then you
feed
don't care
you.
about life.
You can provide seeds to people and they can plant their own food.
So you don't care about life.
They can go out and unalive a deer and get deer meat.
Yeah, but you still don't care about life.
I care about
They can
teaching
just take
people
care of
how.
themselves. They just take care of
It's not my
themselves, and you
job to
want to,
wipe your ass. You
exactly,
want
and
me
it's
to
not your
wipe your
job to worry
ass.
about the woman that's pregnant either.
I just don't think it's my job to wipe your ass.
It's also not your job to worry about the woman that's pregnant.
Feeding you is wiping your ass.
And
Making it
and
to
uh,
where you
and
don't
and
have to
telling
do
a
nothing to
woman that
get
she can't
food.
have a and telling a woman she can't have a medical procedure is you fucking controlling that woman.
Well, but I wouldn't do that. That's why I'm
But you are
pro-choice. I
doing
get
that.
it.
You're doing that though.
Well, I disagree with this so heartily. That's why I don't vote for the other side. You asked
But
why
that's
I
why
didn't
you
vote
vote
for
for
the lesser of the
Republicans
evil.
because you want to control women.
No, they don't control women. I think
They
women have
do. You
more
want to tell
freedom.
women
No,
what they
they
can do
don't.
with their
If they did,
doctors.
if they controlled women, my wife wouldn't be in the position she's in now. A predominantly
No,
man
you want to
job.
control women.
She is in control of it. So how
You
I
want
live
to
in
control women.
what reality do you live in where they're controlling women?
You want to control women.
If I did, my woman wouldn't have what she wanted. She's out and about doing what she
You want to
wants. How's
tell
that
her that
controlling a woman?
you want to go into the doctor's office with her and tell her what medical procedures
No,
she can
I'm
get
going to
and can't
give her
get.
my opinion. And if she were
But
to unalive, like if we
that's
were to have a
fine. If
baby,
you want to give your idiotic opinion to everybody, that's fine. You
well,
can't
you can
just
get,
don't codify that shit.
you can create chaos with your cute little words and expose yourself, Mojo, or you can
Cute
have a
little
good
words.
dialogue.
You're
Well, if
not
you want to
having a
call
good
me an
dialogue.
idiot, that's being
You
condescending.
are not
I'm not
pro-life.
calling you an idiot. I haven't
I
called
didn't
you an
call
idiot
you
yet.
an idiot. I didn't
Yeah,
call
you
you an
did. If
idiot.
you want to be an idiot
No,
and
I
control
didn't.
your wife, that's what
I
you
didn't
said.
say
Idiot
that.
thoughts. You
I
said
didn't
my
say
thoughts
that.
are idiotic.
Yes, your
So now, if
thoughts
you
are
want to be
idiotic. I didn't call
disingenuous,
you
I
an
just,
idiot.
it is what it is. I'll go back to
There's a
trolling
difference
you.
between your thoughts
It
being
doesn't bother me,
idiotic and
dude.
you being an idiot. There's a difference between those two things. Oh, you ran. That's all I get. Damn it. I feel so hurt.
Oh man, I just that guy was talking about controlling women's bodies, so I wanted to say something, but he's gone.
Yeah,
So
why do you do that? Why do liberals do that? Why do you wait until you can like attack or pounce on somebody and take their argument away from them? Why do you want to jump up
yeah,
here
I don't
and
know.
yell at him while
It
I'm
makes no
already
sense.
yelling at him?
Wait, what?
Why do you want to
I'm
jump
not a
up here
liberal.
and why do you want to jump up here and yell at him while I'm already yelling at him?
Because you weren't saying the things that I wanted to be said, so I thought, hey, let me go up there and say it myself.
What did you want to say?
For him to actually provide an argument as to why abortion was permissible, instead of just attacking you on why, unless that was you, unless I got
So
the
you want to
characters
stop
swapped.
abortion altogether. So you're good with controlling women.
Oh, you were the one talking about controlling women. It wasn't him.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's the reason at all. I think we just want to extend the laws protecting people from being unalive to the unborn.
Yeah, but you don't care about life.
That's not true. The women that you're talking about right now already have laws protecting them from being unalive. So what are you talking about?
Okay, again, you don't care about life because if
That's
somebody's
okay.
starving, you will tell them to fuck off.
That's not true.
Really?
If
So the
my kid if
starving.
my kid is
So what do we
starving, I'm
do?
gonna feed
What do you
him.
suggest? So what do you suggest we do with the starving people in Africa?
Not sure. I haven't really studied humanitarianism like that, but let me ask you something. How
Wait, so
many
then you don't care
kids? How
about
many
life
kids
at
from
all?
sex
Wait,
trafficking have
so you
you
don't care about
adopted?
life at all?
So you don't care about sex trafficking?
I care about an adult human
Oh, so how
person
many kids have
being
you
able.
adopted?
Hello? Can I finish my statement? I care about an adult human person being able to make their own decisions without you interfering in those decisions. This isn't about life or death. This is simply about bodily autonomy.
And what about when those decisions end the life of another human?
I think it's always bad to end the life of another human
So why would you think AB is permissible?
because I have no control over other humans either.
So you advocate for the murder of other humans?
I advocate for the freedom of other humans to make their own choices and
Even
their
the
own
freedom to
decisions.
unalive other humans, right? That's what that would entail.
Do you like war? Do you think we should be in Iran right now?
No, I don't. Nope.
You don't think we should be in Iran?
No, I do not believe in intervention.
Okay, do you believe that we should be able to defend ourselves if somebody attacks the United States?
Yeah.
So then you don't care about life.
No, that's not true. I believe if
It
you
is
use
true.
your life to, well, hold on. I'll tell you my view. I believe if you use your life to infringe on the right to life of another person, you give up your right to life. That's my view.
Okay, then you give up your right to life by infringing on a woman's right to make your own fucking bodily autonomy
No,
decisions.
we're doing is protecting
You should get the
protect.
death penalty. You should get the death penalty for being against abortion
Why
because you are taking away somebody else's freedom.
am I taking away their right to life?
You are taking away their
No, I'm
freedom,
not.
and in many cases, you are taking away their
We
right
don't
to life.
give people the
Yes,
freedom to unalive others. That's inconsistent. You'd have to prove
you
that.
are
We don't do
taking
that.
away their freedom to make their own decisions, and in many cases, you are also taking away their right to life.
Yeah, we do that all the time, and you're okay with it too. I can
Okay,
demonstrate that.
okay with what? We do what all the time?
Unaliving people. We
Like
literally
what?
control people's bodies to make sure they don't hurt other people.
Who?
Is
What?
that wrong or is that good?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I'm talking about people who are in prison for life for unaliving other people. We
Uh,
control their bodies so that they do not harm other people. Do
we
you agree
do,
with
but we're
that?
not. But we're not killing them.
Actually, in some states we do that. In
Yeah, we
some
shouldn't.
states we believe, in
Yeah, we
some states
shouldn't.
we believe that they forfeit their right to life when they
Yeah,
take another life.
I don't believe that. I think that's incorrect. I think it's disgusting and gross.
Okay, you may think it's incorrect and you may feel that way, but the
And
reality of the matter is some states.
you may feel like you can control women's bodies, but the matter of the fact is that you can't.
Well, actually, in some states, women's bodies are being controlled, and you
I
don't believe this
understand by
either.
people like
You don't
you.
believe that. You don't believe that either. Women's bodies are controlled from unaliving their grandmas. Well, women's bodies are being controlled from
They're
unaliving
not.
themselves. Yeah,
No.
they are.
No,
Yeah.
nobody's stopping somebody from killing themselves. Nobody's stopping
Okay, the
somebody
laws
from.
may not be preventative, but they're consequential. Do you agree with that?
They're supposed to be. Yeah, they're
Exactly.
punitive. They're
So you agree
punitive
with
in
me.
nature.
So you agree with me then?
They're punitive in nature.
Okay, let me ask this
This is
and see if we can
irrelevant to
find
the
common ground.
conversation.
Yeah, let me see if we can find common ground here. Do you believe in human rights?
I believe that rights are defined and codified by states, governments.
Yeah,
They don't
sure, that's
exist
fine.
otherwise. They don't exist
So
otherwise.
so you don't believe in inalienable universal human rights?
I do not. Rights do not come from
So
nature
why don't you agree with the death penalty?
because I don't feel like we should be killing human beings.
Why not? They don't have rights.
Whether they have rights or not, doesn't we shouldn't be killing them. It makes us hypocritical.
How would that make us hypocritical?
Because if you kill somebody for killing somebody, you're a fucking hypocrite.
How is that a hypocrite if one's just and one is not?
I don't think one is just.
Okay, can you tell me why it's why it's unjust for someone to take the life of another person?
Because because humans have a telos. They have a reason for being. They have something they're good at, something that they're designed to do on this planet, on this earth while they're alive. And taking that self-actualization away from them goes against what it means to be human.
So if somebody breaks into your home with a firearm, you don't believe in unaliving them. You don't believe in defending your home.
I believe
Castle
that
doctrine.
I believe that if I was worried about somebody breaking into my home, I would make sure they couldn't break into my home, rather than worrying about what I would
Yeah,
do
but let's say
after
they
they
got in
break
there
into my home.
anyway.
I'm going to tell you that I'm going to do everything I can to stop them from breaking into my home, rather than worrying about what I'm going to do after they break into my home.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, but in this hypothetical that I'm demonstrating to you, they had already broken into your home, and you woke up to them at pew pew point.
Then what do you expect me to do?
If you have a pew pew under your pillow, I'd hope you'd, defend yourself.
Um, no, I will
Would
ask them to
you?
leave. I'm not going to
You'll
kill
ask them
somebody
to leave?
for. I'm not going to kill somebody
Do
for
you have a
trying to kill me.
family?
Do,
Like, do you have like anything to protect?
doesn't everybody have a family?
When I
Isn't
say
that
that, I
kind of
mean, do you have a wife? Do you have children?
isn't that kind of inherent in being
Yeah,
a
I'm
human being to
clarifying. I'm
have a family?
clarifying. It's okay. I'm clarifying so you can understand. I'm saying, do you have like a wife and children? Are you like a protector in any way to the people you love?
That's irrelevant to the conversation, and men are not protectors.
Well, I'm not saying men are protectors. I'm asking if you have anyone in your life that
It's
you
irrelevant
feel
to the
you have a moral.
conversation.
Well, I'm just asking the question. Are you
I'm just
refusing to
telling you it's
answer?
irrelevant to the conversation.
So you refuse to answer. That's
Yes.
fine. If you refuse to answer, we can move on. Yes, you said
So
yes.
move on.
Okay, yeah. So, when is it permissible to take a life? Never. I think that
I
was your
don't think
view.
it's ever permissible
Okay. So why is AB permissible?
because a fetus is not a human.
Well, I mean, we could look up any generic embryology textbook and just look through the stages of human development, and you would find that a
I'm gonna.
fetus is just a human
It
in
is. It
a
is not
different
a
stage of
human.
development.
It
It
is
is
not
a
human.
human
It
fetus.
is not a human.
Okay, I don't want to have to mansplain human
It is
development
not.
to you.
It is not a human with rights. It is not.
Would
And I'm
you
going
agree
to
that
tell
it's a
you that
human?
you believe the same thing. You believe the same thing because if it came down to the woman or a fetus, you will choose the woman to live every single time.
No, I believe they should be treated as two patients.
If you have to make a choice, the human or the fetus, the woman or the fetus, you are going to pick the woman every time.
That's not true.
So you're going to let the woman
That's
die
not
and
true,
try and
that's
save
not
the fetus.
that's
So
not
you're going to
relevant.
let the
Well,
if
tell
you
me what they're
it
going
is
through. Is
it
it
is
sepsis?
absolutely fucking
It's
relevant
not
because
relevant. It's not
it is
relevant,
it
actually.
is well it is
Well, tell me
relevant.
how.
It is. I'm trying to. If you'd shut the fuck up,
Sure.
thank you. I don't. Oh, wait. I'm gonna. Why do you fucking do that? Why do you people do that? I'm in the process of answering you, and then you
Well,
tell
let's
me,
not have the meta
answer me.
conversation. Just tell me.
No, I'm just asking why you do shit like that. I'm in the process of answering
Sorry,
you
I thought you
as
were
you
going to go on
yell,
something irrelevant.
hello,
I apologize.
hello, hello. I'm in the process of answering you while you yell, answer me. What is the fucking purpose of doing that? Okay, so you're always going to pick a woman over a fetus. If you have to pick one or the other, either the woman lives or the fetus lives, you're always going to pick the woman. We always do that because the woman has more rights than the fetus does, and will always have more rights than the fetus does. So it is the woman's decision on whether she wants to keep that fetus or not.
Okay, one, that's just an assertion, and two, it's not true. I can demonstrate how it's not true. We
Go
can bring
ahead.
up just Sally Barnica. We can bring up Navia Crane. Any one of these cases where they viewed the fetus's life as equal value to the born woman's life.
Go
So no,
ahead.
we do not choose the woman every
Explain it.
time. That's
Explain
just
what you're
not true.
saying. Explain what you're saying then.
Okay, so I believe it was Navia Crane, lived in Texas. She was 6 months pregnant. She was feeling pains. They misdiagnosed it as strep. She was still feeling pain. She went back to the hospital. They checked her baby's heartbeat to see if she was suffering from sepsis. The baby's heartbeat was strong and the baby was alive. So they sent her home again with medication to fight the infection. And because, they can't perform the AB because the baby's alive. That's already a demonstration that they hold both lives equal, because if there's an infection in the woman...
Did the fetus live? Did the fetus live?
No.
Then they chose to kill them both.
No, because the mother passed away.
Then they chose to kill them both.
No, it wasn't... Well, I guess you said it. I could say it too. It wasn't killing.
Yeah, but they chose to kill them both.
Well, they didn't choose to kill. They didn't kill.
If they could have saved one or the other, they chose not to save one or the other.
Well, they tried to save both,
and they killed them both.
When you're talking about kill, we're talking about intention.
So they chose, yes, they intentionally chose to kill both of them.
We have a different definition of kill. Failing to save someone's life isn't killing them. Failing to save someone's life isn't killing them.
They made an intentional decision to do what they did, meaning that they didn't allow that person to die. That means that they specifically acted and made them die, because they could have saved her.
Okay, so if a fireman fails to pull somebody out of a burning building, did they kill that person?
No.
Why not?
You can choose not to go in the first place. They made
No,
choice.
they went in. They went in.
Yes, that means they killed them.
So wait, so if they went in the burning building and couldn't get the person, then they killed them.
If you could
is that the hill you're dying on?
If you could have saved the person and you did something other than saving the person, then you have intentionally killed the person.
So attempting to save someone and failing is murder.
No.
That's the position?
No.
Well, that's what you're describing.
They intentionally tried to save both lives, whatever the fuck they thought they were doing, and they ended up killing both lives.
Well, they didn't kill them. The woman died from sepsis.
They did kill them. They did.
She died from sepsis.
Could they have saved her very easily?
By taking the life of the fetus, sure.
Yeah, so they killed her.
No, you're getting kill wrong. Let's agree on a definition of kill.
I am not getting killed
Well,
wrong.
let's look up a definition and agree on it.
They could have saved her. The job of a doctor is to save people. To first do no harm. To first not allow somebody to die. That's the job of a doctor.
Well, that would have violated the first law of do no harm.
They make these decisions every day.
Yeah, I agree. And by your own admission, they would have violated the first principle of doing no harm. Which is why the intention was to save both lives.
What did they do to try and save both lives?
They were going to perform a DNC, but by the time they did that, her blood pressure dropped and her organs failed.
I actually know what you're talking about here. I actually know what case you're talking about here. The case that you're talking about here is that she was miscarrying. She was turned away from multiple hospitals because...
She did not miscarry.
Not because she was in the process of miscarrying. They turned her away from multiple hospitals. The reason was that
they didn't turn her away. The first hospital was a misdiagnosis of streptococcus.
They turned her away from
the misdiagnosis.
They turned her away from multiple hospitals because the fetus still had a heartbeat. But that fetus was going to die as well if she didn't live. So the choice to make in that particular scenario to first do no harm would be to save the one that you can. But they chose not to save the one that they can because they were worried about getting fucking sentenced to jail for 99 years.
There's no documentation or interview by the doctors claiming they feared litigation. You're just making that up.
What is the punishment for performing an abortion after 6 weeks in Texas?
Prison.
For how long?
But you understand a DNC wouldn't have been an abortion.
How long?
So you just missed it. It's a category error.
A DNC is classified as an abortion.
No, it's not. Not if you're removing fetal remains.
It doesn't matter.
Listen. It can. You're right.
No,
you're right in some cases.
It is the same classification as an abortion.
Hold on. DNC can be an abortion, But like women have DNCs even when they're not pregnant. Are those abortions?
The doctors can go
Hold
to
on,
jail.
answer my question.
The doctors can go to jail for 99
But
years.
answer my question though.
The doctors
I
can
agree.
go to jail.
I already conceded to that. They can go to jail.
The doctors can go to jail for 99 years for performing that DNC. That DNC would have saved that woman's life. They chose not to do that, thereby killing that person. But they killed that person because they were afraid of going to jail for 99 years. Because
I understand. You said this already.
Because the state of Texas sucks ass, and they don't care about women.
Okay. Yeah, so do you agree with me that non-pregnant women can get DNCs?
It's still classified or coded.
No.
It's still classified or coded as an abortion.
It is. A pregnant woman can't get an abortion, dude. What are you talking about?
It is the same thing. It is the same coding as an abortion.
No, the reason why you're saying this, and I'll clarify really quickly. The reason why you're saying this...
Isn't it the same? Aren't I correct in saying that it is the same coding as an abortion?
No. And I'll tell you why.
It's a different code? You're telling me it's a different code?
A DNC can be an abortion in situations. They use a DNC to remove the fetus.
Is it a different code than an abortion?
What do you mean by code?
The way they charge insurance companies, the way they code procedures. Is it a different code than an abortion?
I'm not sure. I don't know about insurance.
Okay, then it is the exact same code I'm telling you.
Yeah, we're not talking about insurance, though. We're talking about medical practices now.
We are talking about how medical practices code things.
Yeah, for insurance.
They code a DNC as
for insurance. That's a different thing.
For legal purposes. And when you're talking
about can you answer my question since I answered yours?
And when you're talking about going to jail for 99 years, that is legal purposes.
Okay, can you answer my question now? Do you agree with me that DNCs can be performed on people who are not pregnant?
I believe that it is still classified as an abortion.
But do you believe that that can happen?
I believe that a woman can have miscarried and still need a DNC.
Yeah, and that would be miscarriage care. Do you know the distinction between miscarriage care? Hold on, let me ask the question, the qualifier.
It's still coded as an
Yeah,
abortion.
you're just asserting that, but I'm going to ask you a question so you can demonstrate it.
I'm not asserting that. I'm telling you that as a factual statement.
Yeah, you're asserting the factual statement without demonstrating it. Now I'm going to ask the question so it can provide you an opportunity to demonstrate it.
Do you want me to show you what the codes are?
No, I don't need to know the codes because they're irrelevant.
Well, if they're irrelevant, then you can't say it's an assertion.
Even if what you're saying is true, it's still an assertion.
But you haven't demonstrated the truth. It is not an assertion. It is a legal fact.
Oh, what do you think an assertion means?
An assertion means that you are asserting something without evidence. You are making a claim without evidence.
Yeah, you're exactly. That's an assertion. You haven't provided the evidence. Yeah, I know you can. I know you can. I know you can. I'm not saying you can't.
So it's not an assertion.
It is an assertion.
No, it's not an assertion because I can provide the evidence.
It is until you provide evidence. I don't deny that you can.
Well, then I'm going to provide evidence so you don't say assertion.
Okay, let me not say assertion then. Like, we don't have to go down this whole dialogue tree. It's a meta conversation, waste of time. No, we don't. It's a waste of time.
It's not a waste of time. There's a reason that you use loaded terms like that.
Assertion is a loaded term to you?
It is absolutely a loaded term.
No, it doesn't, because
you are telling me that what I'm saying
it would only be loaded if you were incapable of providing evidence.
You are telling me what I'm saying is incorrect by calling it an assertion.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Fuck.
Okay, what I'm saying is...
You're not prepped to have this conversation.
You're providing a claim. That's an assertion. You're asserting a claim.
And whether you provide evidence,
whether you can hold on, exactly. Whether you can substantiate the evidence or not, it's still an assertion.
It is not. I'm not
saying. No.
Fact.
Can you show me where in the definition of assertion it says doesn't have evidence though?
Yes. Do you want me to read you the definition?
Go ahead.
Want me to read you?
Yes.
Would you
I would love that.
Shut the fuck up while I'm talking.
Well, I know your question. I just answered it. Yes, I would like you to show me the definition.
You don't know my question.
Oh, it wasn't that? What was your question?
My question was, are you a dumbass?
All right. Well, now you're just being bad faith. Go ahead and pull up the definition.
Right. Ah, God, you are so obnoxious.
I'm sorry, brother.
Fucking wannabe Phil Bros.
I have literally not talked about meta-ethics or normative ethics at all in this whole conversation. I'm not Phil broing. My
You
worldview is just universal human
you are
rights.
Phil Broing, and it's
Oh
amazing
yeah,
that you would think that using the
what
term
topic of
assertion is
philosophy did
not
we cover?
negative.
What topic of philosophy did we cover?
We're
No, you're
logic.
just so
You are
debate brain.
utilizing. You are trying to utilize logical fallacies right now in order to win an argument.
How's that Phil broing?
That is exactly the definition of Phil Bro.
What's up,
That's
Mojo?
okay.
Who the fuck
I'm
let
here for
you
some.
up here?
Your boy.
So just to clarify on a previous position, while
Assertion.
you pull that,
Assertion.
yeah,
Insisted in positive, affirming, maintaining, or defending as of a right or attribute, a declaration of something is the case. He presented no evidence to support his assertions, as an example.
yeah, that's okay, but that's not part of the definition. You just read the sentence with the example of the word in it. You
Yes,
understand how the
because the
definition had
definition,
nothing to do with evidence of the claim. It's
it
just the
does.
assertion of.
It does.
No.
It
Okay, so read
does.
it again. Read it again without the sentence.
It does. It does because it does not require evidence. An assertion requires no evidence.
Exactly.
That's my
What do you
point.
mean?
That's my
It can have
fucking
evidence or it
point.
cannot have evidence.
It requires no evidence. So when you say I'm asserting
Wait, that's
something,
not
that
true. You
means
didn't read that.
yes, I did. A
Read it one more time,
declaration,
because I must
a
be stupid.
declaration, you are stupid. A declaration that something is the case. He presented no evidence to support his assertions.
Why do you keep reading the example
And
sentence
insistent in
afterwards?
positive,
Wait, why do
affirming,
you keep
maintaining, or
reading?
defending as a right or an attribute. Why do I keep reading the sentence? Because the sentence is what matters. Because
No,
the
the
term,
definition is
because the
what
term,
matters. What?
no, the definition does not
What?
include, the definition does not include evidence. What?
Okay, hold on. So, yeah, exactly, the sentence. So what if the sentence was, he provided evidence for his assertion?
Then an assertion is different than evidence, right?
No shit.
And an assertion is a
An
claim
assertion
made
is just
without,
a claim.
and yes,
Assertion
exactly, a
is just a
claim
claim.
made without,
Exactly.
a claim made without evidence.
No, just a claim. An
A
assertion is just
claim,
a claim.
a claim made without evidence.
No, the definition doesn't say that.
It does say that.
No, it doesn't. You're not reading
A
the definition. You're reading the
declaration,
example sentence. You know when you're in a spelling bee and they're like, "Can you use the word in a sentence for me?" That's what you're reading.
an assertion is a confident and forceful statement of belief, fact, or claim, often made without providing immediate proof or evidence. That is dictionary.com.
What about Oxford?
Now you want to move to different definitions.
I want to
The,
use
the
to.
first one,
Yeah, I want to.
the first one, the
Oh
first
my
one
God,
I
you're
read
so
was
bad
the first
faith.
one. The first one I read was Merriam-Webster.
The first one you read was more accurate. Yeah, that makes sense.
This
The English.
exact
Hold
same
on, people
fucking
who.
claim. It's
Please,
the exact
please,
same
brother, hold
claim,
on.
you dumb shit motherfucker. It's the
It's not the
exact same
same
claim.
claim. Do you
This is.
mind if I teacup
Tell
to
me
look
that
up the
this. Tell
definition?
me. I don't give a fuck what you do. Tell me that this isn't Philbro shit.
Assertion is just a confident or forceful statement claiming something's true. There's no
Yeah, you
requirement
just
or
looked up
criteria for
Merriam-Webster.
evidence.
That was the first definition I gave from Merriam-Webster, and it does not. It does not include evidence in the definition.
Exactly.
The one from dictionary.com does. However, the example given in the Merriam-Webster dictionary does include evidence
Yeah, and it could
as part of the
also
definition.
include. Yeah, I understand. Well, no, not as part as that's the part you're conflating. That sentence doesn't define the word, bro.
And an example does define the word.
No, it shows how the word's used in context. It doesn't define the
Exactly.
word.
Exactly.
Hold on. Do you
Because
think
it only
how a
matters
word's
how
used
it's
in
used.
context?
Yes,
Huh?
that's the only thing that
Yeah, but
makes it a
all right.
definition.
This is the disconnect. You would
The
have to agree with
disconnect
me
is that
that.
you're
Oh my
disconnect is that
god,
you're the disconnect is that you're a
brother,
dipshit.
come
You're an
on.
asshole, and were
Oh my
trying to
god.
use it. You were trying to use it as a pejorative claim against me by saying assertion instead of a fact, and trying to discredit me by saying it that way.
Your assertion can be a fact, though.
It is a
You're
fact.
claiming, yeah,
Just okay,
you're
good.
claiming
Okay,
that an
good.
assertion can't be a
Okay,
fact.
good. Then just accept it as a fact. That's the
What was
simplest
it again?
solution
Because
here.
we've steered so far.
That it is
What was the fact
coded, that an
again?
abortion and a DNC are coded exactly the same.
For insurance purposes, sure, I can concede
For
that.
legal purposes.
No, I can't concede that because there are DNCs
See, this
that
is the
happen to people
problem.
who aren't.
This is exactly why I had an issue with you saying assertion.
Okay, but aside from assertion, your actual claim, I can't agree with that. What was the claim one more time? I'm sorry, bro.
The claim is that abortion and DNC are coded exactly the
Yeah, I
same
can't. Yeah, I can't.
for legal purposes.
Yeah. For legal purposes, yeah. I can't agree with that because people get DNCs all the time and don't face legal repercussions because it's not illegal. DNCs are not inherently illegal.
I
If
didn't
they were
say that
synonymous to
DNCs are inherently illegal,
okay,
but
if you
if a DNC
you
is
keep interrupting
done,
me, bro, just let
if
me
a
finish my
DNC
thought.
if a DNC is performed at the time that there is some form of heartbeat in Texas, the doctor will go to jail for 99 years.
There you go. I agree
And
with
that
that.
was my fucking claim in the first place, you just dipshit.
That's not how you stated it. You actually reworded
That's
it
why
right
they
now.
didn't perform it.
No,
It had
that's
nothing to
not
do.
true.
It had nothing
That's
to do
not
with
true.
It had nothing to do with trying to save the child or the fetus and the woman. It had everything
Your
to do with
source
the
is from
fact. It had everything.
ProPublica.
It had everything to do with them not wanting to go to fucking jail. That's what it had to do with.
That's not true. You have no evidence of that.
I do.
And I know you have no evidence of that because all of these sources are sourced from ProPublica, and there's no documentation or interview of the doctors saying they feared criminal action. There's no evidence of that whatsoever
There
from
is
the
plenty of
doctors.
there is plenty of evidence of doctors saying that they fear criminal prosecution in the state of Texas right now.
Not in the cases you're referring to.
That they fear criminal prosecution for performing DNCs after
Yeah,
6 weeks.
Nevaeh Crane's doctor did not claim that. Gisele Barnica's doctor did not claim that. Amber Thurman's doctor did not claim that.
I'd have to look up their specific doctors. I haven't done that. I know that doctors throughout Texas have made this claim over and over and over again. This is why they're leaving Texas.
Yeah, so okay, let me ask you another question. Do you think miscarriage care is illegal in Texas?
I do.
It's not.
You can go to jail for treating a
Hold on.
miscarriage as well.
That's not true. That's actually
It is true.
that is disgustingly not true.
It is absolutely true.
No, it is not illegal to remove the fetal remains from somebody's body. That is not true.
If you cannot prove that you have to prove a positive case that there was no heartbeat at the time of that.
Exactly, which would be miscarriage care. It's only miscarriage if the hold on. It's only miscarriage if the fetus dies to natural causes inside the womb.
If you don't prove it completely, if there's any doubt in the mind of a fucking jury, they will be forced to sentence you to 99 years in jail.
If you don't prove what?
If you don't prove affirmative. What the fuck? Are you sliding a van door?
Huh?
Are you sliding a van door?
Yeah.
Are you picking up kids?
No. I'm working, brother.
Well, that fucking background noise is not going to cut it for me, dude.
All right, well, it's over. I apologize.
Oh my god.
Wait, now your background noise is going to drive me crazy. Fuck. Dude, it was obnoxious anyway. You can come back up if you want. I just can't stand that fucking background noise.
Who's your new
If you're
friend?
still here, anyway. Who, B? I
No.
don't like her. What?
Sorry. No, the guy that was up here.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
He lasted quite a while, honestly.
Yeah, he's annoying. By the way, if you are still down there, you can come back up. I was just extremely perturbed by the sound of a van door slamming in my ear. So I apologize.
Oh my.
What? You're an asshole.
I mean, I
Why
am
would
an
you,
asshole, but
yeah, why would you bring up Frugal in the middle of me doing that?
because he's another conservative.
He's an asshole. I had no interest in talking to that fucking prick.
Well, you didn't say that Mojo in the Mornings was no conservative assholes. You said it's
No.
for conservatives.
Okay. Well, for future reference, Frugal can fuck off for at least a little while. I'm not going to block him, but I'm also not going to bring him on panel until, I don't know. I actually think he needs to apologize for the shit he was saying the other day.
What did he
Oh,
say?
well,
Who?
Frugal.
Oh, what happened the other day?
I'll tell you about it later.
literally just choked on my
Not
tea.
good, huh?
Huh? Well, it includes other people that aren't here. So,
Mojo's like, can't believe you brought that asshole up here slamming a van door. You think you got another one?
no, probably not. But no, I was talking about the ass. No, he was fine. That first dude I brought up. You brought Frugal up in the middle of that shit. And I just have no interest in talking to Frugal right now.
Nessie, was your
Yes,
power
yes.
out? Was your power out? Did you have a power outage? Nessie, her power might
Messi's
have went
light,
out again.
Messi's lights are out. She's a little dim. I'm just kidding. She probably didn't even hear me. Forget her.
Why
Yeah,
are Messi's
so
lights out?
Fred, by the way, B, Fred is funny. I love giving him shit. He freaks the fuck out. And Debo is Debo. I don't know if you've run into him before, but
I've had Fred on my panel before, and he just crashes out and says the N word. I'm surprised he didn't do that. He is very, like, when I say low IQ, I utilize their own hateful rhetoric against them. He's very low IQ. He's not worth even having a conversation with. He
yeah,
didn't even know what was happening in that whole conversation.
yeah, you can be pretty triggering though. You're pretty good at triggering people.
Well, yeah, when I say low IQ, it is triggering, and if someone called me that, I would be triggered. And I got harassment and bullying.
What the
Okay, I'll go down.
fuck?
I'll go down.
Isn't and then she's gone.
She
About
got
to
a
ask.
violation. She got a violation.
I was about to ask, wasn't Yumi her friend?
Omi. Omi.
Omi?
I fucking hate Omi. Fuck that guy. Fuck Omi.
Well, he's a capitalist. I mean, I was like literally driving when y'all were having that discussion around farming.
Omi's a capitalist. Okay, so if he does come
Absolutely.
on, if they come on the panel, I would like for you to talk to them because that would be funny to hear you make that claim.
Oh, I did yesterday, and he just got, or they, I
Yeah.
forget the pronouns he had, or they had, but they got mad. They're like, that's salacious or fictitious. I'm like, no, I heard the whole argument with the farming because Omi made the claim that he is paying or they are paying 10 times more for uh, the produce in the state that is like made in the state than what they are exporting out to other states. What stage capitalism is that?
Um, I don't even know what claim that. I don't remember that claim.
Well, they were making that claim that they are subsidizing essentially the rest of the nation because they are paying more for their produce in store. But let me get this straight. So capitalism, their cost would be lowest by shipping to like LA or the Bay Area. and their profit is obviously highest in this place that they're paying 10 times more for the same produce, why would any farmer in California ever ship that shit out? I mean, literally, they could just let it rot on the shelves. For every California orange they sell, 9 can rot on the shelf and they still make more profit. So there's
Uh,
zero way that that's capitalism. If he is paying, or if they are paying more for produce in their state and still exporting, that's socialism. They're using the funds from the resource heavy state, which is California, to provide for the rest.
okay, I don't know. I don't remember that claim being made. So
Well, I
I
was
I don't
literally driving in the middle of that. I should probably go look through your YouTube to go find it. I was like literally yelling in my car,
I
like,
mean,
what the fuck?
if that's exactly what was said, I agree with you, but I just don't remember that claim being made.
All right. It was between Steve and Omi. And I noticed that Steve did not rebut it at all. Like him, Brendan, and the third conservative you had up here all got quiet. They straight up muted up, just like silent agreement.
Donald Trump's on his way to a drag race demo.
Like a cars or
I'm
people?
assuming. I'm assuming it's cars.
What?
The Newsmax
You
text
can't say
message.
that,
The
then.
Newsmax text message I just got says Trump on his way to drag race demo. That's what it said.
Well, I hope it's not cars. It would be wonderful
I
if
wish
he
he
went to
would.
a RuPaul's review or something.
That would be hilarious.
It'd be
That
great.
would be.
Oh,
You're
speaking
here
of
for
that.
drag racing.
What's up, RuPaul? That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. So, how about this? I saw this pillar. It was given to the city of Chicago in 1933. By who? Take a guess. Who gave this? This Roman pillar that it's over 2,000 years old. Anybody?
Who gave it?
Yeah, who gave it to us?
Would it be the Vatican?
Nope. Close.
Italy?
Mussolini?
Mussolini. So this is
Italy.
sitting off of Lakeshore Drive on a little a bike path, but on the lakefront. It's not plaqued. There's no markings of what it is. Nothing. It's just covered by a chain link fence. This 2,000-year-old Roman pillar sitting in the middle of Chicago. It's very controversial because it was given to us by Mussolini. Isn't that crazy?
That's kind of cool looking.
It is. And then like the detail on it.
Oh, it's very cool looking. Holy crap.
Back. Robot, you got to accept my invite to be able to get that.
And then we went to
I didn't bring them up.
it's a better picture in the light. Isn't that awesome?
Is it just that's chain link around it?
Just chain link around it, probably 8 foot tall.
That
That's
looks
it.
like my Freedom Prize painting.
Yeah, and then we went to well, I was on. Did it come on yours when we saw Al Capone's house?
Yeah, so you go on vacation, a small little jaunt of a vacation, and you go look at Mussolini's pillar and Al Capone's house. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, we also went to H.H. Holmes, to where his murder castle was, which is
Damn.
now a post office.
Like, are
When
you
we-
just into dark tourism, Messy?
Yes, I am. And when we went to Wisconsin, we went to what was his name?
What the fuck?
What dude that ate people?
How did I get harassment and bullying? What the fuck? Frugal's down there fucking reporting me. That's great.
I need to know this. I did invite him. That was my fault.
Why would you do that after I just bitched at Brobot about doing that?
I didn't hear you bitch a robot. I wasn't paying attention. I was mopping.
You did because you asked me what happened.
And you said you'd tell me later, so I really didn't know. But I didn't know that you're Ed Gein. No, we didn't go by his place. It was too far away. Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer. I won't bring him up again. My bad. Anyway, yes, I like tourism, dark tourism, and then
Hmm.
got this little churro that was so good. Got
So
these things that were so good.
ice
That
shaped
that
thing.
seems to be the thing amongst our generation is the dark tourism, like
Yeah,
just the randomest stuff too. There are some people that have started a whole industry around like El Chapo and the Medellin cartel. So when you go to Colombia, that's apparently going to be on your list of the
yeah.
places you want to visit.
One of my most favorite things I've ever done was to go on Jack the Ripper tour in London. That was so awesome.
Oh, but that is fun though.
Mhm. Anywho, so there is a website called uglyfuck.org that you can go and submit a whatever you want to call it, a joke about Stephen Miller, and the best one wins $500. You're welcome.
Am I supposed to say thank you?
Yes.
I assume that
Chance
that's
to
what
win
you were doing.
$500 for cracking a joke on Stephen Miller. Give it your best shot.
Feel running
I
some
don't I
ministry
don't know
here.
if we have ovens large enough for Steven.
Oh. Someone said that he looks like a man that would have a blow up doll named Mother.
Yeah.
He looks like a man that would invent shower heads and ovens.
All right, I did bring the dude back up that was making the argument for abortion, so or against abortion. So if you guys
Oh,
want to talk to him,
this is perfect time for my PSA. You can purchase 5 boxes of Plan B from Amazon to be delivered to your doorstep the very next day. They have a 4-year shelf life, also under $50. You can't buy one box at CVS for that. Be sure you read the instructions and have fun out there.
So since Senor is back, I did have some questions along the AV topic. Now this one's going to be
It's just it's a little noisy. I'll just keep muting up every time I'm not
okay,
yep,
talking.
that's
that's fine.
cool. It was, I mean, I'm. They call me on the spectrum or whatever because noises freak me out and or piss me off, and that just happened to piss me off at the time. So I apologize for that.
I do the same thing anyways. Uh, but in this particular context, I'm taking it that you believe the unborn have rights, like rights of personhood or right to life.
Yeah, I believe any other threshold you try to set other than humanity will be arbitrary.
And okay, I can agree with that. So in this particular parallel, because obviously we have the disagreement on the actual topic with the unborn. So we need a parallel, something that will happen or could happen within your daily life. Let's say you come across two people, one of them's female, one of them's male, and they are in the middle of the act of schmex. And you hear her yelling, stop, don't, get off, all those things.
Don't get
Uh,
off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't get off. But but stop. You hear her crying, the yelling. What do you do?
I would like to believe that I'm brave enough to go in there and stop it.
Okay. Well, I mean, just given the situation. Now, this person that is inside this woman's body in the given moment is a full grown human, has all the rights and protections of the Constitution, is a citizen. where do you make this distinction that you should remove him?
Because he's intentionally forfeiting his right to life by trying to infringe on her right to life.
But as I said, you just happen upon this instance. You are making that determination. What is giving you that credence to make this determination to remove him from her body?
I guess her cry for help
Okay, so if we use that same
and
logic
the
and
visual
she,
as well.
okay, well, if we give the same logic and her cries for help during pregnancy and her visual distress that something is wrong, why wouldn't she be for an abortion in that case?
Um, I believe. Well, one, she already has the rights protecting her from being unalived, right? My whole goal is just to extend those rights to the unborn. But in this specific case, hold on, my headphones died.
Yeah, in this specific case, we're talking about the man that is in her body, and she is yelling, "Stop!" and "Don't do this." And you're making a determination to remove her from, or remove him from her body.
Yeah, I would invoke probably my moral system and just the legal system. He's committing a crime on her body. I would think it's justified in stopping him from doing that. She to be sentenced to being unalived, I'm not sure, but yeah.
Well, that's why I'm placing you in this as the particular authority figure. What is giving you this credence to believe that he is committing a crime?
Um, well, I see them doing the act, and she's screaming no. So that would give me,
Okay.
I believe, the credence.
So you're again making that determination based on what she is saying
And what I'm
and
seeing, yeah.
and what you're seeing. So again, if you have a woman that is physically screaming to get, something's wrong, you need to get this pregnancy out, and you visually see her in distress, why would you not be for abortion?
Well, it wouldn't be immediately clear to me what's wrong if she's just screaming. I would have to, we'd have to give her medical attention and diagnose the issue. Aside from that, I wouldn't say the fetus is like a rational agent using intention to violate her rights.
Well, sure, but once again, we're using you as the authority figure here, and now you want to kind of punt the football over to a medical professional, whereas in the other case, like you could do nothing and just call the police. They're like 3 to 5 minutes out to arriving at the situation. You're making this determinative based on what she is saying and her visual distress that you would intervene and physically remove this man.
Yeah, I can concede that maybe I don't have all the information and I might be wrong by going in there. I think it would just be like an instinctual thing, and like I said, hopefully I'd be brave enough to even interact. Um, like I may just call the police, but yeah, I would throw it to the medical professionals because when you're pregnant and you're having like pains or she's screaming whatever she's screaming, I think it would take a medical professional to diagnose what exactly she's screaming about. Whereas in this case, it's all just consent, right? Like she's screaming, "You don't have my consent," and he's continuing. So I feel like that would be all the criteria needed.
Well, there would also be consent involved with the pregnancy. Obviously, it's something that is in her body and she's no longer consenting to it on either of that spectrum. But my particular notion here is just testing the morality. Like, how far do you extend your morality? If it is morally wrong, like you feel that what he is doing to her is morally wrong, then you would also feel that whatever the fetus is doing, whatever's going on there medically, would be morally wrong as well. You're
No, but
centering that
there,
her bodily autonomy is at the height of the right pyramid.
no, because the criteria for me there would be in like intention. So like we were all in our mother's wombs, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have the intention to hurt our mothers in the womb. It's just a natural stage of human development that requires such things. In the other case that you're bringing up, that could have been avoided had the man just kept his hands to himself.
Well, I mean, we can
Um,
extend that out to a hypothetical because I mean, this is exactly what they do in courtrooms. What if it started out consensually and that's just something that she like was feeling in the moment? Those are words that she was using in the moment. She didn't want him to actually stop. They were two consenting adults kind of thing.
like CNC, like
But you
consensual,
did,
non-consensual.
yeah, but you just didn't know it. You happened upon this in the moment she was yelling those things and you viewed it as a distress. But once
Yeah,
again, that's why I'm trying to get to you don't know what's going on with her pregnancy either. That fetus may have unalived and she's going septic, and that's why she's screaming. Or it
but
may be
from
an
my
ectopic
worldview,
pregnancy growing
sorry.
outside of the womb, and
Yeah.
that's why she's screaming because it's horrific pain.
Well, from my view and the view of Texas law, that wouldn't be an abortion, right? That would be miscarriage care. Ectopic
There's no
pregnancies
such
and
thing
miscarriage care
as
are.
there's no
Go
such
ahead.
thing as miscarriage care. That's not a
Yes,
thing.
there is. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's a DNC. It's the same for abortion. It's the same for miscarriage. It's dilation and
The
clitoris. You're
procedure, the
dilating. You're
procedure is the
dilating.
same.
You're dilating the
I know what a
uterus
DNC
to
is.
remove
I
fetal
know what it
tissue.
is. Do you agree with me that people who aren't pregnant have DNCs?
Yes, that's not classified as
Are those?
abortion because what classifies an abortion is if there is or was a pregnancy that is currently happening, and that is what is being treated.
No, that's not true. If you're
It
using a
is.
DNC, hold on. If you're using a DNC to remove a fetus that suffered from an ectopic pregnancy causing the mother to be septic, removing fetal remains through a DNC that's excluded through criminalization in Texas law. That would be miscarriage care.
Yeah, well, here's the issue, right? After 6 weeks, and honestly, before about 10 weeks, it can sometimes be difficult to find the heartbeat, right? And so you can understand that a fetus has passed based off of from like let's say you go in and you're pregnant at 6 weeks and then you go in for your 10-week checkup and there's been no growth, but they can't officially say that they can't find the heartbeat because it's still too young, so they can deduce that the baby has passed, or the fetus, whatever you want to call it, has passed because there's been no fetal growth within that 4-week period in which the fetus should double almost in size almost every other day, right? So this is a very complicated issue that I don't think you really understand
Well, I
necessarily
agree
what
with
you're
what you
talking about.
said. I agree with what you said, although I do believe you're being a little disingenuous because you don't only believe that abortion's permissible in those cases, right? You believe a woman has a right to choose throughout the pregnancy. So I think that's a little
Yeah.
disingenuous. But even that being the case, I don't think that justifies the unaliving of around 1 million human lives every year. I just don't.
No, it's these are the people who get affected by this sort of top-down aggressive approach on abortion. These are the people who get hurt from it. This is a real life example. 10 to 20% of
Well,
women who are
you're leaving
pregnant
out.
will go through a miscarriage, right? And if they don't have access to that sort of healthcare to do the DNC because there's so much restrictions on it, then this will lead to death. This will lead to death, and we've seen it lead to deaths.
And just a factual basis, according to the Heritage Foundation, which I think we can all agree is a right leaning organization, there are only about 500,000 ABs across the country per annum. Some
I
years a
think
little
in
lower, some a little higher.
2024. Yeah, it might be like 2025 or something. I think in 2024 there was about 980,000, something like that. I just rounded it
Yes,
to 1 million.
Heritage
Um,
Foundation does point that out after the
but
fall of
yeah,
Roe from the SCOTUS decision that ABs almost doubled across the country.
so would we be able to compare those numbers to the amount of women that suffer like fatal consequences due to pregnancy?
Yes, we can look at maternal mortality rates, which are exceptionally high in this country. You
Like
can contribute
500,000 a
that
year?
uh, quite a bit higher
Fatal pregnancies?
uh,
Higher than
due to
500,000 a year?
complications either during or postpartum.
So what is that number?
Looking through the NIH because you're going to have a collective of information because postpartum depression is a thing when you have mothers that self-unalive.
Yeah, my girl went through that. Let's just say I concede to all of that. Why would you think that a suffering or the potential of justifies the outright taking of a human life?
I would push back that it's I would push back that it's classified as like human at that point. Like it's just a clump of cells. I mean, if you want to say that simple squamous epithelial cells are human, you can, but we're just sort of you unalive those every single day when you piss. They come out in your
No,
piss. You
no,
shed
no.
them
That
naturally. Yes, you do. You
okay.
unalive them
Well,
when
no,
you
I'm
get a
not saying no to
cut.
that. I'm saying like we can look at any embryology textbook and it will clearly list out the stages of human development. And we can see when human life begins and the stages that human
No,
life goes through development.
no, there is a
Yeah.
huge disagreement on when we classify it as life enough so that it has rights, right? Because like you could say that it has
Well,
rights all you want in the womb, but at the end of the day, you're not giving it welfare or social security when it's in the womb, especially if it's like, let's say a disabled child, right? Like say this baby has Down syndrome. You're not extending it the right of social security while it's in the womb. You're waiting until it comes out of the womb to be able to reap the benefits of being a so-called life.
yeah, okay. I I mean, again, like I don't believe in like whatever you just described rights. I believe in human rights. Again, if you try to draw the line anywhere past humanity, it's just going to be an arbitrary line that you're setting, and I could
We
just set an
already
arbitrary line
do.
back.
We already do. Fetuses do not
Yeah,
have
that doesn't make it right, though.
the right to bear arms. They do not have the right to free
Yeah, because
speech.
you
They don't.
understand that's just like an illogical position. Like they can't hold firearms.
Yeah, but it's not. If you're saying that they have a right to life while they're in the womb, then they should have a right to access to these social welfare programs, especially for fetuses that are disabled. And yet we
No,
don't
that's not
extend that to
true.
them because we understand that they don't essentially have rights because they're just cells.
Well, they're not just cells. They're a human comprised of cells in an earlier stage of development than you or I. So what you're pretty much saying is you don't believe in universal human rights, you believe in developmental rights. The bigger, more grown get more rights than those who are not.
I mean, sure, you think of that with animals as well. You think you have that sort of hierarchy in your mind with animals, do you not? You
Yeah,
don't
because
think
I
that
believe in human
animals have
rights.
a
I don't believe in
right.
like cow rights. Yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly.
if you're going to say that it's based off of like this hierarchical, you got the background noise again.
Sorry.
It's really bad. Yeah. Does anyone else want to talk? I feel like I've been kind of co-opting the conversation. I apologize. You got to stop me sometimes.
I don't
Oh,
discuss AB with
I
men.
wanted you to keep going. You were about to explain something.
Well, I think Robot also had some points that I want to give space for.
oh no, we can go back to my morality test there because once again, you are taking the moral the moral judgment on AB because you feel it is a moral affront. But once again, when you are put in that authority position, whenever you see a man on top of a woman, your entire system tells you that you should intervene. And I'm wondering how you put those two together.
Well, I explained the intentional infringement on another life. What's wrong about that?
Well, you keep going back to intent, but I'm sure somebody in the middle of, consensual things, there was no intent of harm there. You were just
Well, then I
taking
would.
a communication as something that it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. So in that specific case, in this hypothetical, I would have just been wrong and embarrassed, and I would have been like, "Damn, my bad, guys." Right? Like,
Well, I mean, typically that apology would probably happen in court because then you committed assault, and
Well,
especially if you
I
went
mean,
to the
but
what if
does at
the
extreme,
all?
what if the person turned around and just shot you?
that
Then I
too.
would be
I mean,
unalived. I mean, what do
And
you mean?
they
Like,
would they
what?
would be in they would be justified in doing so, right?
Probably because I I came at them like, "Hey, stop touching her." Like I came at them aggressive, right? So I guess that, yeah, I
Does
misunderstood the
that give you
situation. I misinterpreted it, and I took action that I shouldn't have taken, violating somebody's like personal bubble, giving them the right to unalive me.
does that give you pause the next time you think about trying to help somebody?
Um, I think I would just do what Brobot said and call the cops.
Okay.
okay.
So a doctor that faces 99 years in jail, do you think they might have pause as to whether they want to perform a procedure or not and face 99 years in jail?
While he takes that phone call or whatever it is, I mean, that's basically where my line of questioning is going, Mojo. And
Get
essentially,
there faster, damn it.
if you're willing to, you know, give that authority to its, logical source, like in the instance of happening upon a woman being assaulted, may be assaulted, you would call the police, then why the fuck do you care about abortion? That's between her and her doctor. Your morality shouldn't play that part either.
Yeah. I'm secretly a Phil bro.
I don't think it's a
Secret.
secret.
Jinx, buy me a galaxy.
Is that kind of like Victoria's Secret, where we just say it's a secret,
Everybody
but then you
knows.
have a whole TV show?
Yeah, maybe.
I put in the comments that you're the only Phil bro that I enjoy listening to.
I always look for like stupid little arguments that get people to stammer.
Hey, you do a good job. That was interesting. I enjoyed the whole past hour or so.
You should have heard Galt this morning. That was pretty funny. Did you listen to that?
I missed Galt.
Oh, me and B and Civics on Galt, Galt and
That's
Fred and Devo and Steele.
it's a good matchup.
It was fun. I thought it was hilarious that B was going after Galt for not reading or not reading. It was fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
I feel bad now though. I do feel bad. Like,
Don't feel bad. He does that shit to me all the time. That's why when you were there, when you got there, I said, "Well, she's the one you can get all the quotes from because she's actually done all the reading."
well, like when I ask people these questions, I'm not trying to be like an asshole, but like if he's going to claim that he's read it, like it's not even. I think even like mainstream people, if they know about Marx and they know about Capital, they know that it's fucking brick. And same thing with Wealth of Nations. If they're intelligent to make it to that point. So him not even knowing that it's lengthy just tells me that he hasn't listened to it on audio tape. He
Yeah,
just
I've been
hasn't.
telling I've been telling him recently that he just does the AI overview of all these things. That's all he ever does.
Hello? I'm so sorry, guys.
You fucking
Completely
better be.
lost. Dude, my girl called me. I'm sorry.
I'm
I
just
can't not
kidding.
answer.
I'm
She'll
totally
kill me.
kidding. Totally kidding. You're fine, dude.
There was a question I think asked of me.
I asked you. I specifically asked you if it would give you pause, and you said you would call the cops.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
then
think I
I
would just do what Robo said.
yeah, then I asked you, then don't you think it's justifiable for a doctor to have pause when they're facing 99 years in jail if they perform a procedure?
I believe if they I don't think pause is the issue, right?
It is. That's a
No,
big
I don't
decision to
think it
make
is.
for a doctor. If they do this procedure, they face 99 years in jail.
You can lose your
But for
license. Like at the
but for
very
the
least, you lose your license. At the very
but
most,
for
you
the
go to jail
procedure
and
we're
lose your
talking
license.
about, for the procedure we're talking about, there's no legal repercussion for that.
There is. There is. It's not, if there's a step missed anywhere, they could serve time in jail.
Yeah, did you not hear what I was saying about the heartbeat? So the way that um, the government wants classified that a miscarriage is happening, or the states want it, is that there has to be no heartbeat. But before 10, I would say even before 12 weeks, it can be very difficult to find a heartbeat. But we know a fetus has died based off of it hasn't grown within a month. It should be triple in size, quadruple in size at the end of the month. So if that hasn't happened, we know the
Well, that's
fetus
not
hasn't died.
necessarily true.
However, that is absolutely 100% true.
Not in all
However,
cases,
if
actually. No.
in all cases, if a fetus hasn't grown in a month, the fetus has passed.
That all right. One
If
that's
there's
just
been no
not
growth,
true.
if there's been no growth within a month, the fetus has passed. Honestly, if there's been no growth within a week, the fetus has most likely passed. But there could be developmental
Most
issues. But if
likely, I
there's
may
been,
even most likely I
but
may agree with.
let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Okay, go ahead.
So if the government is requiring a heartbeat, but before 12 week, it's very difficult to find a heartbeat. Do you see where the issue starts to arise? A doctor will recommend you can pass the fetus at home or you can do a DNC, which is an abortion. So the issue is that people who are in office aren't understanding how fetal biology works and how difficult it is to find a heartbeat, and yet they're making that the requirement to understand whether a fetus has passed or not. And so doctors are reluctant to do DNCs without definitively seeing a heart and seeing it not beat, which is very difficult to do in the early stages of pregnancy. So
Okay.
they're reluctant to want, yes, okay, I'm happy
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think that may be justified. I think the doctor holding that life with moral consideration is the right thing to do. I believe in those cases you should be treating them as two patients.
Okay, but then a woman comes in, she's got a fever that's 104, she's got a blood pressure that's, 180 over 100, she's got a temperature that's, oh, I raised the temperature, but like an SpO2 of, 80. Like all of her vitals are off, which is how we classify sepsis. And the doctor does the ultrasound, and the woman's at 10 weeks, and he's like, well, I can't find a heartbeat. I can't understand for sure whether this fetus has passed. I think it has passed because it hasn't grown. I'm sorry, you're just going to have to die of sepsis instead of like doing a DNC. Do you see how each individual case is so specific? The law cannot keep up with it. So it's better to just have a blanket law that says abortion is permissible for all 9 months, as long as you're discussing it with your doctor legally, because these are all
Okay.
very specific cases.
But the problem with that is now you're creating a new issue. You're creating the guaranteed ending of a life to protect the potential unaliving of a life.
No, we're saving the mother from dying of sepsis because we are making the cost benefit analysis that most likely this fetus has passed. And the cost of keeping her alive with this fetal tissue in her outweighs the
Yeah, I
benefit of
understand
her
that.
being alive.
Yeah, I agree. In that situation, that would make sense, right? But I'm talking about if you make it accessible, then the abortions that usually take place, which are elective abortions, would run rampant, as they have. That's the primary consequence of what you're talking about right now.
First of all, the term
If you're
elective
saying
first of all, the term elective is highly subjective. You're going to have a different definition. You're going to have a different definition than I do. Secondly, it is not a decision for you to make. It's just not. It's a decision that a doctor should make. A doctor and the patient should make. You shouldn't have any part of that process.
Also, a point of fact that there is no study that shows why abortions are being had. The closest they ever came was about 30 individuals, which women just said whatever and basically didn't answer the questions, other than maybe 5 or 6, which out of those 5 or 6, a couple of them said that they did do it for elective reasons.
No, there are definitely surveys out there with self-reports of the causation of their choice. Actually, there definitely are.
Okay, if you believe that those surveys exist and they have an actual sample size of 350 million Americans, then, I mean, pull them up. I'm more
Well,
than
I
happy
mean,
to look at them.
yeah, I wouldn't say every American participated in the survey, right? Uh, but I don't believe the sample size is rejectable. I think it's a decent size. I don't remember it. I would have to look it up. But no, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting at. If you believe that you have actual survey data, I'm more than happy to look at it.
I mean, I'm pouring water, by the way. I'm not being just PSA, but um, in terms of like when we are actually talking about abortions being performed, the majority of them are done with the pill, and that includes miscarriages as well to induce this sort of passing of the fetal tissue. So DNCs aren't even like the main driver of abortion. It would be the abortion pill, because most abortions happen relatively early in pregnancy.
Well, if your argument is all from preventing like a mother's life from being lost, you should probably be against abortion pills.
How would her life be lost with an abortion pill?
It's happened many times. You could look at the Amber Thurman case. A lot of times when they take these pills, it 100% succeeds in ending the life inside the womb, but what it doesn't succeed in is completely expelling the fetal remains. So what happens is you have these fetal remain tissues inside, and you develop sepsis from that. Actually, a lot of sepsis is caused by AB pills.
Okay, so then you should be having access to a DNC after that. Like when you go into sepsis, a human does not know that they're not in sepsis. You very much know all your vital signs are off. You have temperature, you have low oxygen, you can have, all the 5 main vital signs are off. They should have access to a DNC after the abortion pill if the pill does not help them pass all the fetal tissue.
Yeah, I agree, because then that would be, in my view, that would be miscarriage. Well, sorry, in the doctor's view, because obviously in Texas he wouldn't assume she took, like Amber Thurman specifically, they didn't know she took AB pills because she traveled across state to acquire them from a doctor. So they thought it was like a miscarriage, and in that case they should have given her the medical care.
Why did she have to go across state lines to get a pill?
Because they're illegal in Texas.
And you don't see a problem with her having to resort to those measures in order to have access to healthcare? I mean, this is wild.
No, I think if you're going to travel across state to end the life of your child, I think that's pretty sickening.
It's not a child. And she didn't view it that way.
Yeah, I don't think the way she views it matters. I think it is a life. So
the way you view it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Why should it matter how you view it?
It's not my subjective view. Like I said, we can look through an embryology textbook, and it'll be clearly laid out for us.
What embryology textbook makes this moral claim on life? Because I missed that in fucking nursing school.
I'm not saying it makes a moral claim. It doesn't make a moral claim. It makes a biological claim.
Where does it say life? Where does it say life? It doesn't say life at all. They're actually pretty careful not to put those inflammatory terms in textbooks, unless you're in the deep south. I can't
maybe they don't use the word life, but it's understood under scientific consensus that if you're displaying cell division, you're alive. So I mean,
prove that shit.
Prove cell division is a sign of life? I can do that.
Wait, so does that mean that a fucking cancer cell is something that should be saved?
No, because it's not a human. That's the distinction.
But it is human. It's human
It is
tissue.
No, it's
human.
not.
It is
No,
human
it's
human
tissue.
tissue.
It's part. It's partly human, but it's not. It doesn't have a unique
doesn't-
human genetic code.
Well, I think it does, because if it's tumorous, that means that it has something wrong with its DNA.
I got a call, but yeah. So it like a life inside the womb has its own unique genetic code and belongs to the species of Homo sapien.
You're just making the window so much smaller and smaller. You're shifting the goalposts. You said human life. Cancer tissues and cancer cells have DNA in them. They are your own cells that go haywire and start
Wait,
making.
Is there something wrong with clarifying the position?
No, you're shifting the goalpost. You're not clarifying your position. You're shifting the goalpost. You said you are a human life advocate, and cancer cells are absolutely human life.
Well, the
Without
only
a
reason
doubt, they
why
arise from human tissue that has a defect in them.
Well, that's only because I thought the question was pedantic, so I had to get pedantic with you guys. I mean, if you guys think cancers are human beings, like, yeah, I have to get pedantic and say,
it's human life.
oh, exactly, and that would be pedantry. Do you know what that means? It's bad. It's bad faith argumentation. You don't actually believe.
No, it's not.
Okay.
According to your definition, according to your argument. Then
well,
we
no,
have
I
to
just
say
offered
those
you a
fucking
clarifying
cancer cells
definition
too.
but you guys want to reject this one because it's shifting.
Yeah, so you're shifting the goalposts.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with conceding
Yeah.
I shifted the goalposts and reclarified, but that doesn't make me wrong.
Well, I think that you're wrong, but because we don't classify it, legally speaking, as a human. Not a human with rights, anyway.
We do, actually.
No,
Hi.
we don't.
Yeah,
Well,
we do.
A fetus has no rights. An embryo has no rights.
Well, if you're
agree
talking
with
about
that.
cells and cellular nature, wouldn't you consider spermatozoa, what you create as a male, as part of something that could become human life?
A sperm cell is only half of the genetic material necessary for human reproduction. I would not consider that a human.
But it has that potential of becoming a human life, right?
Not by itself, no. Has to fertilize with an egg.
Okay, well, yes, it does have to fertilize with an egg. But if you
So
are
it's only half the genetic material.
essentially doing the thing that most adults do, and those cells leave your body that do not fertilize an egg, wouldn't that be unaliving cells that had the potential of becoming human life?
Yeah, but they're not human. You understand?
Oh, so those cells are not human, even though you made them.
Yes. Yes, because that cell requires an egg to be fertilized to create human life. That's the distinction. Like, the jerk-off argument's always a little funny.
No, the human life
It is.
argument's always a little funny.
Well,
If you're going to
not
classify
really.
human life as of this way of like having, human cells, then you
Well,
can
no,
classify.
unique genetic code and be classified in the species of Homo sapien.
Well,
Yeah, viruses have a unique genetic code.
here, let me just give you a better example then. That also means that somebody that's put on a machine after they're brain dead also has to remain on that machine forever, because that is a unique human life that is still alive, and if you take it
Yeah.
off, it's going to be killed.
Yeah, I would agree with that, unless they've given you the consent to.
So then we would have,
unless they
then we
forfeited
would-
their life through consent.
then we would have millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people sitting on machines all over the place that are brain dead. That's
And
an
cancer also
idiotic
has
argument.
cancer also has a unique genetic code, by the way. It is why the cells metastasize and multiply so quickly, because it develops a unique genetic code that bypasses the regulatory process of
Yeah, but
multiplying at a certain rate. So they have a unique genetic code in and of itself. They have a unique DNA strand.
Yeah, I agree with that, but are they under the genus of Homo? They are not.
Yes,
Because
they are
human
part of the
beings,
human. Yes, they are. They are human cells. They are. Like lung cancer is cells that overdevelop quickly. Lung cells. How hard
I
is this
mean,
to understand?
they're not.
let's be brutally clear here. Where's your delineation based on the genome? Because you share like 50% of your genome with a fucking banana or with a tree.
The genus Homo. We are the only
So,
living creatures left with the genus Homo.
uh, I mean, I'll have to look into that. But I
Homo
mean, we're
erectus,
still
Homo
part of
naledi.
the great apes. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you're
Like I can explain this.
99% genetically similar to like a capuchin monkey or a
Yeah,
gorilla.
all Homo sapiens are apes, but not all apes are
Big.
Homo sapiens. Does that make sense?
How did you
That
guys, if you don't mind me, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that makes sense. I just don't think that we're the only living specimen in the Homo family or family tree still living. I'm fairly sure orangutans actually like fit with us
No,
more
they have a
closely than a
different
gorilla.
genus. I could look it up. I don't know exactly. It's like Homis something. It's like Homi. Um, or no,
Yeah,
no, no.
they're
Like gorillas are. Their genus is. I think it's actually gorilla. Chimpanzees, their genus is Pan. Like these are different. These are different. There's the like.
well
This is a little bad faith,
the
guys. Like you
Homo.
guys know we're different
No,
than.
it's not bad faith. It's a science discussion. If you're talking about the Homo genus, like that encompasses great apes. I
It does
remember
not.
that much from my college classes. Like, there's
No,
a
I
reason
promise you.
why we're in the great ape family.
I just had this argument 2 days ago, brother. Trust me, we can look it up together. Homo sapiens are the only living creatures with the Homo genus. Under the Homo genus. Um,
Did we derive from apes?
sure. I mean,
Okay.
you see my profile picture. I mean, like,
Can an embryo survive outside the womb
we
without the
actually
mother?
are apes,
Well,
actually.
I have a separate question. Can the embryo survive outside the mother without her
Uh,
support?
no, it's only viable after, I believe, 20 to 21 weeks, something like that. Or the
Right.
youngest, I believe, was 21 weeks. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So they cannot become a human life without the mother, the mother's womb
No,
before
they are
22
already a
weeks.
human life, actually.
They cannot survive.
Yeah, I agreed
Right.
with that
Correct.
part, but
Good.
they
Good.
are
Good.
human life.
Yeah, it's human life, but they cannot survive without the mother's support until
Yeah.
22 weeks.
Neither can a 1 week old, right? Or you can't unalive them.
A 1 week old is fully is a fully developed human being.
It's not fully. Are you what?
I
No,
mean,
they are
it's a
not.
fully developed baby. It's a feed. It's that's a
You just
live
mean they were
birth.
born. That's what you mean
It's
to
a
say. They were
live
born.
birth. Yes.
Yes.
You can't compare that
Yes.
to an embryo.
Of course you can because they're both human. What do you mean?
So you're saying that you're against AB completely, even if it's 3 weeks. That
Yeah,
the
I
mother
have
doesn't
exceptions.
doesn't
I
have
have
the.
exceptions, but yeah,
What are
it's
your
not just gonna be
exceptions?
What are your
like
exceptions?
like I guess incest. Like I'm not. I like like if I had a
What
daughter, I
makes
don't think. Sorry.
what makes that what makes that fetus less human? Not not available for your
It doesn't make it less human. I honestly don't have a justification even for my exceptions. I struggle with my exceptions. I just have some weird intuitive thought that an uncle shouldn't be impregnating his daughter or his niece and blah blah blah. And
And
I actually have no argument for it.
you have an intuitive thought as a male versus being a female, and you don't have the ability to carry a child yourself, and you have
Yeah,
this
I agree with that.
intuition, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's correct.
So you don't want so would you like to have what time has the government told you what you have to do with your body as a male?
I hate to bring up the Andrew Wilson argument here, but the draft.
Oh, please.
I mean, he is right about that. I mean, if we go into another world war, we're gonna get drafted.
Who's Andrew Wilson?
He's a debater, online debater.
Oh my god.
He's a disgusting human being, is what he is.
I
Yeah,
don't
the
agree with all
draft
his takes, but
the draft was morally wrong. We should not have had. My father was a Vietnam vet who was drafted. We should not have had that.
well,
Like
think of it this
my
way,
father became an alcoholic. Like it ruined not only his life, it ruined everybody else's life around him, who loved him and cared for him and tried to get him to be better. Like trying to control people that way, that's not a W. It's not like the win you think it is.
well, the only win we're concerned about in that situation is not like complete utter obliteration, right? So if you have a nation that wants to see the absolute end of your nation, and you don't have enough, like, forces, you have to do what has to be done to protect the
Vietnam
nation.
never called for that. Vietnam never called for that, and we never made the claim that they called for that. We were afraid of the domino theory, which is that if Mao takes over China and becomes a communist nation, then Vietnam and then Cambodia and then Laos and then everybody else in that region will become communist. There was never any claim about them being inherently violent towards us.
Well, yeah,
So again, trying to control men into going into these pointless wars is kind of like similar to trying to control women to have these pointless children.
And we don't have a draft anyway right now.
we do.
So no, we don't. So
We do.
what I'm saying to
We actually don't. Congress actually passed a law outlawing the draft as of right now.
So my
That's
point
not
is
true.
that what?
It is true.
Oh my God. So what? In what way does the government? In what way would you? Besides a draft, because that's what you're saying. You think
Okay,
there's
I got
justification.
another. Selective
In what
service.
way? But let me ask my question. So, in what way do you think that the government controls a male's body, and if that's okay with you?
Yeah, I just answered it. Selective service.
They're not controlling your body with selective service.
They are actually. If you don't sign up for the selective service as a man, you lose rights. You lose rights.
Do you have to do something to your physical body by filling out a form with respect to selective service? Do
They
you have
inhibit.
to? In other
they
words,
in-
a woman. In other words, a woman is forced to give birth, and you've never carried a child. I have, two of them to term, and it's not something that's easy to do. Women unalive in childbirth.
Oh yeah, I want to clarify. The military draft has been inactive since 1973, and the U.S. relies entirely on a volunteer military force. Reactivation requirements. They would have to bring back a physical draft would require a new explicit act of Congress and approval from the president during a major national emergency. There is no active draft enforced right now that is enforceable. They would actually have to pass a new law in order to reinstitute the draft.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally.
exactly.
So you
So we
said
have
we
no
have a
draft.
draft and we don't.
We don't have a draft right now.
Okay, that's fine. That still means we can be signed up for the draft, but I'll go ahead and concede that point.
You
Okay.
signed up for selective service.
Selective
You cannot,
service.
you cannot
Yeah,
be
if
signed
you
up
sign
for
up
a draft. You cannot be signed up for a draft.
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
have
I'm
to.
dropping
You
the
can
draft argument.
Okay.
The selective service would be the new argument, and I lose rights.
You lose rights,
Yeah,
but is the government telling you what you have to do with your body physically?
They're telling me what I can't do.
They're telling you to fill out a piece of paper.
You're
what do they-
also the government's
what do
just
they-
telling you what you can't do.
What do you mean they're telling you what you can't do?
Like they're telling me I can't apply for federal jobs. They're telling I could pull up a list if you want.
We do that every day in this country.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
can't walk into a business without shoes on, for example.
you have to wear a seatbelt in most states. I think every state now, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so
Okay, but you
again,
don't
I
have
ask
to
you the
sign up
question,
for
in what
anything. You don't
way
have to
does the
sign up for.
government?
Hold on. You don't have to sign up for anything to be forced to wear your seatbelt. Like, what are you talking
No,
about? And
no,
again,
but
you guys just
but
conceded
you
that's
have to
across
you
the
have
board for both
you don't have
sexes.
to sign the selective service either.
Yeah, but if you don't, you lose rights.
Okay, that's fine. That's the way
They
rights work. When you
they
sign a
might
contract,
chase
you get the
you. Yeah,
benefits. You get
go
the
ahead.
benefits of those
Okay,
contracts if you
women
sign
don't
them.
have to sign. Women can still get federal jobs without signing up for the selective service. They don't have to sign up for the selective service. That's
No,
the
but
example.
they're not allowed to keep their fucking life in your world because you want to take their life away by forcing them to go through birth that might do that.
Well, you're not actually addressing what I just said. They don't have to sign up for the
Yes,
selective
I am
service.
addressing exactly what you just said.
You
Well,
still
okay.
haven't.
Well,
We're
tennis.
bringing what you haven't done is you have not given me an example. The selective service is a no, and the draft is a no. You don't have an argument that the government is forcing you as a male to do something with your physical body.
You're also not giving that example.
Oh,
You
yes,
see,
I
you're
am.
misinterpreting the law. No, the
No,
law,
excuse me.
the law
Excuse
doesn't
me.
say.
I'm
No,
saying that the
excuse
government
me.
is
I'm responding
forcing.
to what you said.
Okay, you go ahead.
What you said was that you're being forced to give birth, and
Well, yeah.
that's not. Well, no, the law actually states you're not allowed to unalive the life inside your womb. So they're just restricting your rights, just like the selective service restricts my rights and doesn't restrict yours.
What's the effective difference between telling them that they can't stop the birth and forcing them to birth? What's the difference between those two things?
One's a consequence of the other.
But they're the exact same outcome.
No, one is an outcome, the other's a consequence of that outcome.
They are
The
the
outcome is
exact.
you
They're
can't
the exact.
unalive
They're
life
the.
inside your womb.
They are the exact same outcome with a different justification.
No.
Only
It's a
slight.
chain.
Only
It's cause and
slight.
effect.
Only slightly. Only a slight different definition as to why the outcome is going to be the way that it is. It is the exact same outcome.
No. I mean,
Yes.
like, no,
You're
that's
forcing. It's
pedantry.
forced
Yes.
birth.
Either way,
It's
you are
forced birth.
forcing a woman
It's
to
not
have a
because
child.
forced birth would be forced pregnancy as well. You understand that?
No, it would not.
No, it
Yes,
does
it
not
would.
mean that. How are they
Yes.
mutually
No. Hold
exclusive?
on. Okay.
That's
Hold
wild.
on. You guys are listen.
That is a
The reason
pretty
why I'm
wild
saying
argument.
that.
The
Yeah.
reason why you're
The
saying
reason
that
why
is
I'm
because you're an
saying
idiot.
that is
The
because.
reason why you're
Well,
saying
hold
that is
on.
because you're fucking
Okay, go ahead.
floundering right now.
Go ahead and
That's why you're saying it.
tell me why I'm dumb. All right. So the
You're
reason why I'm
floundering.
saying that is because in order for you to be forced to give birth, you would have been forced to be pregnant. And if
Oh,
you're not
so
pregnant, you will not be. Hold on, I'm not done. If you're not pregnant, you wouldn't be forced to give birth. Do you guys agree with that?
well, sure.
No, I don't.
No, I mean, if I'm not
Oh,
pregnant, I'm not going to be giving birth. Okay, that's fair.
exactly.
If I'm not pregnant, so what's your point? I am pregnant. What if I'm pregnant? So I am forced
Exactly.
to
So
give.
now
Okay,
that
so
you're
okay,
pregnant,
I'll go with your argument.
now that
I'm pregnant now, and I'm forced to give birth. Fine.
no, you're
I
no,
am
you're
pregnant,
Wait,
restricted.
and the
that's
government
like
is forced.
that's like
Listen.
saying
Now
that's
that
like
you're
saying
pregnant,
that's like wait. That's like saying that a seatbelt law is okay because you're not forced to drive a car. If you don't drive a car, you don't have to wear a seatbelt.
And I can't
yeah,
get to work. By the way,
yeah. Well,
if I
you
can't
can. You
drive a
can
car.
walk there. You can walk there. What do you mean?
Oh, I could walk 20 miles if I'm
Yeah,
traveling
actually, you
into.
could
Okay, so
wake
then
up
we're
4 hours earlier and walk to work.
never forced to do anything in this country. Never, not once, not one single
That's
time
why.
for any reason.
That's my argument. I'm saying you're restricted
Okay.
from doing things. You're not forced to do something.
If I am pregnant, I am forced in certain states to give birth. Period.
Okay, I understand you said that already, but listen to my argument. My argument is if you are pregnant already, you are restricted from taking the life of the womb inside your, or sorry, the life inside of your womb, and the consequence of that is that you would be forced to birth. That's why I'm saying one's an outcome, one's a consequence.
The bottom line is that the government is telling me what to do with my body. That's the bottom line. You can do
They've
your
been
little
doing that to
pretzel
you, though.
twists. You can do
They've
your
been doing
little.
that to you.
You can do your little pirouettes around the
They do
fact
that to
that
me
if
too.
I'm, they do not do that to you, and you haven't given a
Yeah,
valid argument to
they
that.
restrict me from unaliving you, Tennis. They restrict me from doing that.
Oh, okay. So we're going to compare. Okay, so you're saying you want the choice of whether to unalive somebody? Is that what you're saying? I want
I'm saying,
the choice of what to do with my body when I'm pregnant. You want the
yeah,
choice, is what your argument is. You want the choice of unaliving someone or not.
no,
That's your
that's not
argument.
what I didn't say. I want to do that. No, I didn't. What I'm saying
You want
is
that
the
choice.
restriction. What I'm saying is this is simply, I think, as simple as I can say it. You have laws protecting you from being unalived or consequences thereof, right? The life inside the womb does not have laws protecting it from being unalived. The key difference here is the restriction and what you can do on someone else's bodily autonomy.
That's right. They restrict our bodily autonomy.
Yeah, they do. They've been doing that to all of us. We cannot unalive people, Tennis.
Is the child not hers? Does she have dominion over the child because it's growing in her body?
That she's the parent, she's the mother. Yeah, I don't understand.
Okay, so then it is hers, right? It's not the states, the governments, or anything
Yes,
like that,
yes,
right?
it's hers.
So then
It's
it is a
hers.
forced. Then it is a forced fucking birth, dude. Like, what the fuck aren't you getting?
For
What?
just on a factual basis for Senior and Mojo, if you stop eating, will the hospital forcibly feed you? That answer is yes. There is
Yeah,
force in this
you are
country
correct.
all the time.
Absolutely.
You are correct.
True. But yeah, so Tennis, or well,
Okay, so then
Foster,
your
go
whole
ahead
thing
and
falls apart. Your whole thing falls apart.
wow.
He just explained it to you. He just said they force you to eat if you choose not to eat. Okay, so then they are forcing women to have births. If they choose not to have it and they force them to have it, then what is that called?
Bro,
Makes sense.
does the 6-week heartbeat 6-week heartbeat bill
Bruh, a
say
child inside of a
okay,
woman's
he's gonna
body
interrupt
doesn't
me?
mean
Like,
shit
bro, what
to
are we
me.
doing here? Can I answer your question, Foster, please?
No, because you're not answering my question. You're not answering it. You're trying to go
No, you
around
don't
the
let me
question.
finish.
No,
You
no,
don't
no.
let
I've
me
been
finish
listening to
the
you.
answer.
I've been listening to you. You're going
Hey,
around the question every time she speaks to you. You're going around it.
You still have to let him finish his statement, otherwise you have nothing to respond to.
The 6-week heartbeat bill doesn't say women are forced to give birth. The law explicitly states that you are not allowed to terminate the life of a human being inside the womb after 6 weeks. The consequence of that is that women that are past 6 weeks pregnant will be forced to give birth. Do you understand, Foster?
Do you understand what you just said? You're trying to place the consequence on what she's trying to say is a forcible, right? You're saying it's a consequence. That's why you're forced to do it. But she's just saying that she's forced to do it, and you can't agree with that. That's
Because
different.
she's being,
Because it's
because
semantics.
her
It's
statement,
semantics. It's semantics.
her
You're
statement is
using a
pedantic.
semantic.
And her statement is pedantic. That's why she's saying the government's forcing me to
Pedantic?
give birth. It's not true, because if the government was forcing you to give birth, this would be the Handmaid's Tale, where they force you to get pregnant and then force you to give birth. That's not the case.
You just said she'll be in trouble if she chooses not to have that birth, right? You
Yeah,
just
exactly.
said that there's a
Yeah, because
consequence
she's
to her
taking a
not
life.
her not having that, right? So it is
Yeah.
forced. Yeah, so that's forced. It's a consequence. It's a forced decision. You're making someone do something because the consequence is you'll be in trouble, right? You'll have to deal with this. So it is a forced decision, just like driving a car.
And now, I mean,
The
Trump
decision to
has
get pregnant is
said
not forced unless there's a crime committed against you.
it's forced. The government, through Donald Trump, has said that he thinks there should be punishment for a woman who undergoes AB.
Trump has never said that. Trump is pro-choice.
Oh, excuse me, but there's live video footage of him stating just that, exactly that.
The consequence of rape is what, Senor?
Criminal punishment.
And the consequence for the woman is
Depends what state you're in, I guess.
a forced birth, you dumbass. God damn.
Not in all states.
Okay. It's ironic that people like
Okay, well, hold on,
yourself.
hold on.
Wait, I
Let's
was
say I
talking.
concede
Wait,
all of this.
I
All
was
right, go ahead, go ahead.
talking. And I'll
Sorry,
finish.
sorry.
No worries. The irony is that people who have your opinion don't understand the fact that the government, when it comes to women who opt to have, which it usually occurs within the first 3 months, to undergo a B, that they're financially not, they can't really foresee being able to support a child. They might have the partner's support. So, what does the state do? Does the state help women with babies and toddlers that they can't afford? That's the irony to me, is that
There's
there
single
is.
mother programs
Wait,
out there.
I'll finish. I'm finishing. That in light of all this, the forced births, right? The state doesn't help women who are in financial need to help with the finances for supporting the child. That's the irony.
That's not true. There's not only are there single mother programs, but even if you do have your man with you, you can still apply for WIC before giving birth. Yeah, there's programs out there to help out single mothers. Even
What part of men's healthcare is decided by the state that they live in?
not sure. But let me
Exactly.
ask you.
So
Yeah,
what
but let
part
me
of
ask you this.
what part of
Hold on,
women's
let me ask
healthcare
you
is
this.
decided by the
Let me
state
ask
that
you
they live
this.
in?
Let me ask you this. What part of men's healthcare requires the unaliving of a human life?
Vasectomy.
What?
A vasectomy,
No,
right?
that's
Because you
incorrect. That's
need
wrong.
sperm to
No.
create a child, right? So
Yeah,
therefore,
but is sperm?
if you stop
Oh my
that, then
God.
you don't have a
Oh my
child, right?
God. Not the sperm argument again. A sperm's
It's
not a
not a sperm
human.
argument. It's just trying to point out to you that you are trying to say that women have plenty of autonomy over their bodies when in fact healthcare is deciding what to do with their bodies. And I'm asking you, where does that happen for men? And you can't explain that. So therefore,
Yeah,
you have no
exactly.
fucking
Because
place to
there's
speak,
no.
bro.
Okay, cool. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because there's no place in men's healthcare that requires the unaliving of a human life. Tell me where that's a thing. We're like, sorry, we have to remove this kidney from a kid to give you a kidney. Like, no, bro, that doesn't happen.
Like you just said, when you get drafted and you go to war, you have to
Yeah, and
unalive
that
humans for the government.
well, not necessarily. No, you could be doing an office job. You like my friend, he just fixes helicopters. Even when he was out on
Yeah, my
deployment,
dad
he
had
was just
no
fixing
choice.
helicopters.
My dad was drafted. He had no choice. He had to go to the front lines.
Okay,
He was in Vietnam. He
that's
was in
true.
Hanoi. Like,
That
he had
may
no
be true.
choice.
You have
Yeah, that may be true,
anecdotal
but you're
arguments, and they're not going to work because you're using them for broad messaging. She is speaking on a broad sense. She's saying that this is what's happening. You're trying to get down to a anecdotal position.
wait. When did I use a personal experience?
Well, to be fair, I was the one using the personal experience, but
Yeah,
I do
she
kind of
used the
see
anecdote,
what
dude.
you're saying. Yeah, that's fair. What is your name, Senor Fiat? How do you say that?
Sinorpheus. It's a mixture
Sinorpheus.
between Morpheus and Sephiroth.
I don't know. That sounds like some nerd shit. I don't know what that is.
It is.
Sephiroth is one of the characters from Final Fantasy, and Morpheus is from The
Matrix.
Matrix. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got a little nerd. I'm a little nerdy too.
Yeah, so hold on, Foster, just let me like calmly just tell you the view, right? The view is universal human rights. All humans have the right to life, and we just want to extend those laws protecting human life to the unborn. So when you ask me why, blah blah blah, women have like forced healthcare or whatever, the reason is because there's a consequence to the specific healthcare you're referencing, which is the unaliving of human life. There's no instance in men's healthcare where unaliving human life is a requirement to succeed in that healthcare.
Under the Constitution, what constitutes a human life?
I don't know.
A full-born human.
Okay.
Right. So when you talk about protecting the rights, there is nothing in the law. Okay.
I know, that's why we advocate to change the law.
Right.
Just like you guys, like if you were just going to appeal to the law, I would just say, okay, in Texas, you just can't have abortions, and you would say that's good.
I would say that's good, that you can't have abortions in Texas.
Yeah, because you just said, well, the Constitution says that this is a law, so
No, she's
you're
saying you're
appealing
going
to
against the
authority.
Constitution. No, she
What
says you're going against the
what
Constitution.
I'm
What you're
saying is
doing is unconstitutional.
you're
Exactly.
pointing
If she's
to
appealing,
rights, you're pointing to laws, and there is no
oh,
law that says
I'm
that
not pointing to laws.
the unborn has a constitutional right.
I
The
didn't.
only thing
Okay,
in the
no, I
law,
never
the
said
only
that.
thing
It's a
in the
straw man.
law, no, you did, because you were
No, I said
talking about,
universal human rights. I didn't say
okay,
constitutional rights.
okay, so
In men's
universal
healthcare,
human rights, where are you deriving that body of law?
I mean, it's just, I guess, my
Your
intuitive
moral
worldview.
code? Your moral code.
Yeah, my intuitive worldview. Yeah.
Okay. So that's your opinion, right? But you can't point
Just
to the
just
law
like this
to
is
say
your
that.
opinion.
Well,
yeah, but
no,
I think
this
he
is
keeps
no,
saying
this is no,
that.
no, this is law. We're not talking about opinions here. We're talking about actual law. Law that has killed people,
And he keeps
killed
saying
women.
that there's nothing that
Yeah,
men do
exactly.
that kills people, but
Every
there is stuff.
every
There is
AB.
stuff. I can name one
No,
for you. I can name
a
one for you.
person, a
You want me to
person
name
is
it?
not, a fetus is not a person, not according to any law in this country.
Yeah,
That's right.
So
Sinorpheus.
hold on.
Sinorpheus. If you impose bodily harm on yourself, is that not a proposition of you taking someone's life, your own self, right? If you don't get preventative cancer screenings and things like that, isn't that a form of like you harming yourself? And so the same thing would be for a woman if she chooses not to have that baby because it's harming her.
Yeah, I don't think suicide's justified. Wait, can you repeat the question?
I'm saying that you said that there's nothing in the medical health care system that that men do, which would cause a loss of life. And I think it's not having health insurance in general would cause a man to lose his life.
What law says you can't have health insurance? I don't get it.
In California, it's a law if you have health insurance.
So wait, I don't understand. What's the point here?
What I'm saying is that you keep saying that like men don't create the situation for an unaliving, so that way that's why there's no like healthcare rules against you guys. But that's like denying yourself, right? You have to get healthcare to take care of yourself. So a woman has to get healthcare to take care of herself. And if she chooses to get rid of a child, that's not the child; it's her taking care of herself.
Yeah, and the consequence of helping herself is unaliving human life. Why do you keep skipping that part?
So is
Okay,
self-defense
yeah.
in every circumstance.
Yeah, and self-defense is just.
Yeah, and so this would be self-defense then.
Exactly.
This would
That's
not be
what I'm trying to get
self-defense.
at. Yes,
It wouldn't.
is. That's
It would
what
not
I'm
be.
saying.
All right,
It is.
go ahead and make the case for self-defense. Go ahead.
I just made it for you. I just made it for you yourself as a person who has to get health insurance to take care of themselves. I just made the case for you.
Let's well, I'm gonna make it a different case. So let's say you're getting mugged and somebody says, "Hand me your wallet," and instead you turn around and shoot them in the head. Um, is that self-defense?
Yes.
But all you're doing is protecting your money. All you're doing is protecting your livelihood. All
Yeah.
you're doing is protecting your sanity. Well, then a woman could do the same thing to a fetus who is now going to take all of her fucking money from her
No,
for the
there's an
next
intentional
18
threat to her
for the
life.
next for the next 18 years.
Well, no one's
I
forcing
didn't
her to
say,
be a parent.
but they are though. They are forcing
No, they're
her to
not.
be a parent.
They're forcing
They're not.
her, just a minute, they're forcing her to carry a life in her for 9 months. Okay.
There we go.
And you don't understand the health consequences of
Yes, I do.
bearing.
I've been through
No,
3
you
pregnancies.
don't. You are a man.
That
You
doesn't
have
mean
not
I didn't
carried
experience
a
what my
child.
wife
Damn
went
it,
through
the
step
background
by
didn't
step.
experience.
The background noise.
You have not carried a child. There are major health consequences in having a child inside your body. It's not, you just think you blithely state that, oh, la-di-da. There are a lot of health consequences
They're
that go with
parasites.
carrying that child for 9 months. I've done it
100%.
twice.
Even in the healthiest of healthiest pregnancies, in which there's no complications, no preeclampsia, no birth defects, nothing. Essentially, a fetus inside a woman is a parasite. It breaks down her bones. The process of pregnancy will break down bone tissue so that that fetus can receive calcium. Every step of the way, that fetus is completely living off of her and would not survive without her.
That's just an argument of dehumanization, and I reject that utterly. It's human. You can't dehumanize it.
What
It's human.
No,
what
we're saying if
what is
we're
the
playing into what you want, if we're playing into that it is human, then we're going to play into the self-defense argument then. The human, the fetus, is living off the mom, taking from the mom's health to survive on its own. It's a parasite. We can
When
use the
somebody's
human
defending
argument.
themselves, when someone's defending themselves in a court of law and claiming self-defense, what's the burden of proof?
It's on the defendant
She's right.
beyond a reasonable doubt. On the defendant. The defendant bears the burden of proof if he asserts that affirmative, he, she, or they assert that affirmative defense.
And what threshold do they have to meet?
In a murder case, it's beyond a reasonable doubt.
So how can you, beyond a reasonable doubt, establish intention to unalive to a fetus?
Doesn't have
Hey,
to be
doctor.
intention. Intention doesn't have to be a part of it.
Oh, it
Right?
doesn't?
Like if someone has a mental illness and they come up to you with a pew, like let's say they have schizophrenia, they think that you're like a murderous clown and they're like hallucinating and, you know, not in their right mind. And they come up to you with the pew, you have every right to still defend yourself, regardless of whether their intention was to hurt you or their hallucination.
Yeah, and the reason for that is there's physical signs of intent. Whether or not the
wait
intention is conscious,
You
whether it's
sound
a
dumb.
conscious decision.
wait, okay, so I had to figure out the numbers here real quick, but I have another question. So you already decided that it's okay for a woman to have an abortion based on financial responsibility. Um, Now, if you could create a revolver with 9,000 rounds in it, and you put one bullet in the revolver and you play Russian roulette with it, and somebody forces you to play Russian roulette with that revolver that has 9,000 possible shells in it, but only one are in there. Are you forced? Is that something that's okay to do?
If you're being forced to play Russian roulette,
Yes.
and wait, what was my action?
You're
That
forced to
you're
be
asking if
playing.
it's okay?
You are forcing someone to play Russian roulette with a revolver that has 9,000 possible rounds.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Okay, you are doing the same thing to a mother, because one out of every 9,000 births leads to the death of a mother. 17, well, it's 17.9 deaths per 100,000 live births.
Okay, now if you think the consequence being harmful is the unaliving of the mother, you'd have to contend with the way more than 9,000 lives that are unalived by abortion. You can't ignore
Again,
that part.
you said it's not okay to force somebody to play Russian roulette. Yet you are turning around telling these women they are forced to play Russian roulette.
Because it leads to the unaliving of human life.
So it
But
is
Which
okay.
is unjust.
you justify the forcing a woman to flirt with her survivability as a person. You're forcing the woman to do Russian roulette. That's not her
Yeah,
choice.
to save lives. Yeah, I agree. Sure, to
Does
save
the
lives.
government give me money for an
It's
unborn
actually a net
child,
positive
or
gain
what?
in life. So
So
it's a
the
net
ends
positive gain in
justify
life.
the means. So it's a cost benefit analysis for you.
Yeah, same way self-defense, the ends justify the means. Yeah,
So again, you're not pro-life. You don't care about life at all.
that's not true.
Yeah, you don't.
The life of the
Don't
mother
care about the
already
life of
has
the woman,
already
is
has
what you're
legal
saying.
protection. That's not true because the mother already has legal protections under the law.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I thought that
No,
the
they're taking it
unborn child
away.
was legal.
They're not taking the life, bro. I'm not legally allowed to unalive you in any state. What are you
But
talking about?
you just said you want to be. You just said you want the capability of forcing a woman to play Russian roulette.
Literally.
Yeah, at the expense of saving hundreds of thousands of lives.
At the expense.
So that
Yeah, a 1 in
woman, even if
9,000
it's one
chance.
woman, even if it's one woman who unalives, she was forced in Texas to bring a child to birth, right? It's one woman and she unalives it. She had chosen not to, but the state said she has to, right? And she unalives. That's all right with you.
Let me
Actual
do a trolley
count was
dilemma
up
with
to
you
You want
guys.
to answer
13.
that question?
That factual count in Texas was up to 13 before the legislator rewrote that law in 2025.
Right. So before the Dobbs decision, right? What do you call yourself, senior? Before the Dobbs decision, were you a big proponent of overturning Roe versus Wade, or was that something? When did you become a staunch
I would
being
say a couple
against
of
the
years
Roe
ago.
versus Wade?
I've always thought it was wrong. AB was wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
after like over the past few years, I've been advocating. But to ask you
So are
guys a
you,
little trolley dilemma,
in
really quick.
addition, are
Hold
you
on.
against birth control too?
No, because that prevents conception, right?
So he's a hypocrite.
Right. So
No,
do
that
you know what
makes
was
me a
happening
hypocrite.
to women
Instead of
before?
just calling me a hypocrite, can you explain how I am that?
Well, I
Listen
would
to
just say
yourself.
this. I would just say
No,
this.
Faustin, seriously.
So I don't know how old you are, but in 1973, Roe versus Wade was enacted, right? I mean, the Supreme Court ruled that a woman had the right to choose, right? Okay, but before that, there was a case called Griswold versus Connecticut where women were granted the right to birth control, to use birth control, right? So, but what had been happening leading up to 1973 in Roe versus Wade? Do you know? Do you know why that case was instituted?
Back alleys, back alleys.
Senor,
Yeah, yeah,
you're
unaliving.
muted because you had a
Oh,
lot of
my bad.
background noise and you weren't talking.
Yeah,
Just
sorry.
so you're aware.
Yeah, I was saying no, I don't know. You could tell me.
Okay, so prior to Griswold versus Connecticut, where women attained the right to take birth control, and thereafter Roe versus Wade, there have been a lot of unalivings of women because they were doing ABs in ways that were unhealthy and unsanitary, and they were unaliving. Many, 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 many. Are you aware of that? Did you hear my question?
He's busy. He's at work tennis, so he's going to be like in and out.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway.
Senor, do you know that you're muted? Did somebody mute him again because of his background noise?
I didn't.
Senor Fias. Senor Fias.
That's okay.
Anyway.
Anarchist. Do you have opinion? Are you pro-choice or
Um,
pro-life?
I'm kind of a mixed bag. I mean, personally, I have, I would never choose. I have a bunch of children. In my perfect world, people would have so many options that, AB would probably be a last, like, the most rare situation. But I don't like restricting people's liberties. So until we can create like programs that will make it more feasible for people to either, adopt, or we have technology that just like takes the embryo from you at 6 weeks so that you don't have to like, have your rights curtailed.
But
I
adoption's
mean,
even probably just as bad. I mean, like we all understand the adoption system is not very well either. So we're bringing a
well,
child into this world with the potential and hope that someone's going to take care of them. However, we're going to force women to take care of something with the potentiality. And I do think it's a little strange just because I'm not arguing with you, but I think it's just a little strange. We don't even get tax credits for an unborn child. So how could we all be legally bound to like saving this kid, quote unquote?
I mean, there are plenty of people who struggle with fertility. I don't think there is. I mean, there's a
I think
waiting
you should
list
get tax.
for. Well,
You
hold
only
on.
think you should save the kid if there's tax credit, bro?
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
live in an
Anarchist.
economy.
What if a woman doesn't want her DNA walking around out there? She just doesn't want to have a child. Like,
That's
That's what
not
I'm thinking.
justification to end its life.
It is. It's purely justification. She doesn't want it. She doesn't need to have it. It's her body, her choice.
Wait, at what point does that rule apply about DNA
Oh,
washing?
who let this fucker in here?
I got invited up.
Just giving you a hard time.
Hold on, let me say this real quick because I don't think a lot of leftists understand.
Say it so that we can understand you.
A lot of these, like especially the "my body, my choice" argument. You understand? Abolitionists of the 19th century face these same exact arguments.
I
My
don't need a
property,
history
my
lesson.
prerogative.
Yeah, I don't care
Yeah,
what the
my
19th
property,
century
my.
faced.
Okay,
We
I'm
live in
just saying you guys are
2026.
using the
We live in
same arguments that
2026.
slave
Let's talk
owners
about right
use.
now capitalism,
Okay,
economy, paying for
just saying big
kids,
resemblance to
abortion.
slave
Let's
owners.
do that right here. You're not making a point.
I
Wait,
did
so if
that.
we
You
didn't
haven't
have
refuted.
capitalism, should
You
abortion
have
be,
to.
be illegal?
Sorry.
Yeah, if we didn't have capitalism, should abortion be illegal then? Because basic needs would be met?
If we didn't have capitalism,
You want to fucking change the
I don't think
subject?
the,
Jesus
I don't
Christ!
think the requirement of human life is based on like the economical system.
Economics? It's not.
No, I'm asking other people on the panel. Like if
Bodily autonomy says no, we should not outlaw abortion.
Yeah. If you just
but
don't
what
want to
if
have a
what
kid,
if
it's
the
that
Well, how
child
do you
is
simple.
guys
basic?
deal with the bodily autonomy of the life inside the womb?
I don't think that the
Do you deal with
unborn
the poop that
fetus.
falls into your toilet where there's living cells, living bacteria cells in it? No, you flush that
Is that
shit.
a stage of human development created by human reproduction? I don't
I,
think
I
so.
We
don't.
already
It's
had
not.
I
this
don't.
conversation.
I don't think that a fetus is a person with rights, and I think the person with rights actually gets to make the decision over bodily autonomy.
Exactly. And that's the economy for you.
But what if the government gives the
And
fetus rights?
Then I guess we
enforcing
have to.
your
That's the
Then
whole
I guess.
argument we're having,
Is
Dr.
But if
Galt.
it
that's
immoral if the
if
government
that's the
said?
case, wait. If that's the case, then if that fetus needs a fucking kidney, then I can force you to give that fetus a kidney.
So if the
That's not
government
true.
makes it, so I
and
just want to
enforcing
understand your
your,
position,
it
Mojo.
does happen quite often, and the women on the panel will probably confirm it for me. But many times, if a miscarriage happens early on enough that most women don't even notice it when they're having their period and they flush it. So yeah, like the whole person being flushed thing, that happens.
So, Mojo, I just want to understand your position. If the state and the people and all men voted to abolish abortions and get rid of it, and the men had the majority vote, and would that make abortions wrong?
This is such a
Right,
stupid, esoteric, not going to
right,
Literally.
happen
right,
Dumbass.
Why?
hypothetical.
right,
It's
right
a
and wrong is right and wrong is subjective. I don't know about right or wrong, but it would certainly make it illegal, and then abortions wouldn't happen in that society.
And it would be the correct position then, under your
I'd be
worldview?
moving to Canada.
No, it wouldn't be the correct. I would think it was wrong. I don't think it's the correct position. I would have voted against it, just like I voted against Donald Trump.
Okay, so the state doesn't make rights?
The state does make rights because
Okay.
that would be the law of the land at that point.
This is such
So if
a.
it's a right, then it's the correct position for society?
I didn't say
Does the state
correct.
make wrongs?
I
This
didn't
is a
say correct.
hairpin
I
turn.
didn't say rights or wrongs or correct or moral either. They just are.
Okay. So right isn't stating something is morally correct?
No,
Yeah, but if you're saying the fetuses don't have rights and that's the justification in taking their life, you do hold a value to that then.
I don't.
No. The fetus doesn't have rights.
It is
Therefore,
just a
it's justified in
cell.
unaliving them, right?
It's a cell,
Well, it
like
would
cancer
if the
is a
government
So if
cell.
granted
It
it.
fetus
is a
did have
cancer
rights,
cell. It's a cancer
yeah, I know
cell.
you've said that so many times. It's
It's
really
Yeah,
not
I
cancer.
convincing.
It
know,
is.
and it
It is
is
cancer.
based
And
off
we
of
eradicate cancer.
Who
every
grants
metric.
rights?
Hold
Who
on,
grants rights?
Dr. Galt. Based off of every metric that you have put forward, Synarpheus, it is almost exactly equivalent to a cancer cell. It has its own unique DNA. It grows. It needs a human to survive. It is a parasite. There is
Okay,
no
but who
distinction.
grants
So if you're,
rights?
Yeah, there is. A cancer's not a Homo sapien.
Yeah,
it
but who
is. It
grants
is
the
a
right?
part of it's part of the Homo sapien. It's a Homo sapien cell. It's like a fetus is a cell.
Who grants
Yeah,
lefts?
who grants the rights?
Who grants the ups?
He wants to change the subject.
Society typically grants rights.
Okay, so if
Are we going to
society
do the
grants,
hairpin turn, Mojo? Are we going here? Or are we going to stay on
I don't
the
know. You
fetus's
guys,
rights?
Oh,
you
I
guys
had a
can.
good conversation with Gold. Me and Mojo had good combo. I don't know how it ended though.
I'll
yes,
respond to Galt. You guys don't have to respond to him if you don't want to. I'm not going to force you to. You have your own bodily autonomy.
I know you.
well, unless society says you don't have the right to it, right?
Fascism.
Then it would be justified, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd
if
be all
society
moving to
says you
Canada
don't.
then, right? Like, I know that women, then you really get yourself in a quagmire because women would not tolerate a society wherein the men are making the laws and Handmaid's Tale City.
I mean,
And
that's
we'd be
what's going
going,
on
and
in
then we're
Iran.
going to Canada. Well,
I mean,
yeah,
okay, so what do you mean they wouldn't tolerate it? They do.
we wouldn't tolerate it. I wouldn't.
Okay, go to Iran and tell me that.
I don't have to go to around and tell you that.
And
Okay,
why
so
does
Iran's
you,
so
Like
everyone
you're
have
far
to
talking
go
away.
about this
somewhere? That's such a
hypothetical
rude.
wherein the men just dictate and they're going to write laws and they're going to, just uh,
you mean
whatever you
human
said.
history? You mean human
Go to
history?
your mother and tell your mother she has no rights, and then just walk. Just let's start. Let's start there. Let's start with your mom. Start at your mom and tell her all these things you believe.
Who?
Yo, you know who else loves AB? Grapists.
Jesus, Jesus loves AB
Grapists
because
love
Jesus
AB
loves
also
all the
because they
little
avoid
children.
consequences.
Um, that's interesting
Era.
point to make. Hello.
So how about the Knicks?
Hey, Ella.
Fuck sports. Fuck sports. Fuck
I
sports.
didn't
I was talking
even
about the
realize
Knickerbockers, not the sports. The actual Knickerbockers.
I didn't even realize I had requested up. I must have hit the button by accident. But I was eating, so I'm glad I caught it in like the volume change that happened when I got accepted up. Otherwise y'all probably would have heard me chew. So that would have been uncomfortable.
Yo, Ella, I saw you. I saw you doing a gaming stream. I rock with you.
Thanks. I came up for the AB. Well, now that I'm up here, I guess I did want to say something because I heard y'all talk earlier about self-defense, and I think that that is a reasonable argument. Should the law get changed and give a fetus rights as a person, then I think that self-defense laws could be a way to go because no matter what, pregnancy always involves like very like actual changes to the body and in most cases injury to an extent, right? Like whether it's vaginal or a C-section or something. And so I do think that there is a good point to argue there.
Yeah.
Yes, the Morpheus doesn't care about your body though. He just thinks it's about the body inside your body.
Well, I mean, he cares. He doesn't want you to have to. He doesn't want to force you to play Russian roulette with an actual gun, but he wants to be able to force you to play Russian roulette with a fetus.
Yeah, but you want society to decide the rights of a woman.
You're such an asshole. Yeah, I don't do this to you, man. I don't come on your panel and force you to change the subject. What are you doing?
Change the subject. We're talking about fetuses and rights. What do you mean?
Did y'all talk about the lady in Georgia? I know I saw Legend. Yeah, I think he's
No, we were just talking about the
What was the
Texas
name
case.
from Georgia? Was it Amber Thurman, Nevaeh Crane, Gisele Barnica?
I don't know what her name was, but she was forced to be an incubator after her death.
Yeah, I do not recall. There have been so many names.
I'm not familiar with that story. So what? She passed away, and then she was like,
She
No,
did. She did pass away.
yeah,
She
and
was. Go ahead. Go ahead.
she passed away from something that I think if the doctors would have given her more thorough care could have been avoided, first of all. And then second of all, when she did pass away in the hospital, even though the next of kin, if you will, like parents and partner, very clearly stated that they did not want for her body to be kept alive, the state and the hospital pretty much forced it. So she was kept as an incubator. Her body was kept as an incubator. While it, like towards the end, it was actively, what is the English word? Like, I wanted to say rotting.
Going
but
through
that's
necrosis,
gross.
it was decomposing.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
Her name is
against the law?
Adriana Smith.
Adriana
Is that against
Smith,
the
that is
law
it.
in that
Thank you
state?
so much. I don't know. I think there's a lot to argue there, but I'm just saying, like, you you want to completely take abortion out of the equation, but that means that situations like this might happen because pregnancy can unalive women, and then you're stuck with this bullshittery, right? Like,
Yep.
how far are you going to push those rights and keep telling women that we don't have the choice in these matters, or even the family when the women die?
This is why I asked him earlier. Part of the reason I asked him earlier, if it's only about human life, and somebody dies and is brain dead, but they are on a machine and they're able to survive on a machine, should we be forced to keep them on that machine forever? And he said yes.
Yeah, but to be fair, I answered that very quickly. And I think from my worldview, if somebody's like brain dead, they might just be dead.
They are dead. That is the definition of
Yeah.
brain dead. That is the definition of death. But
Yeah,
then it's not about human life at that point. Then the quality of
well,
life actually matters.
thing is, we could be here for hours if I just I would just use the flow argument against that.
I don't know what the fuck the flow argument is, but that sounds like some
The
Phil Bro shit right there.
it is, I'm not gonna lie, it is a little Phil bro-ish. It's pretty much flow
Just
stands
stop.
for
Just
future.
stop.
Like,
Just stop. We don't need to go through it if it's dumb.
yo,
Just
why
keep
is
moving.
Foss?
Because
I'm
you
just
sound like an
summarizing
idiot,
it.
bro.
I'm not gonna. Yo, why do you guys let this man be so abusive? I don't get it. I'm so polite to him. Anyway,
I don't know who it is, honestly. I think that this is the first time he's been on the panel.
Has no one been introduced?
No, I'm bad at shit like that.
Okay. Maybe we should do that real quick. Faustio, would you give us your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yeah, 39, California, Kamala Harris.
Cool. Sonorpheus, I know you've been here before, at least once, but would you do the same, please?
yeah, I'm 33, Florida, and I didn't vote.
Okay.
Why didn't you go?
Because Trump really, in my opinion, takes like a pro-choice position. I don't think he pushes for. I'm like a single issue voter, so that's pretty much why.
Abortion is your whole life?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's my whole life, but when it comes to politics and human interaction in terms of how we should run the world, I think, yeah, we should protect the next generation from being G-sided, yeah.
Do you take your arguments to beyond, like after birth? Let's say if you do not allow for women to have ABs, and you force them to birth the child, do you then also advocate for care for the children after the fact, or are you not that kind of pro-life?
Well, I do want them to have care afterwards, but as far as advocating goes, they already have a law protecting them from being unalived, unlike the unborn. So the advocation would
But
stop there.
if you force women to bring those children into this world, but they cannot care for the children, they had a valid reason for wanting an AB, they were denied that right, and now they're forced to put this child in the world but cannot care for it. Will you help care for the children, or will you advocate for anything to put in place to help care for those children again, or are you
Yeah,
not that kind
I'd
of
advocate
pro-life?
for some kind of I would advocate for some kind of program to help the child, of course. But the main starting point to start the race, they have to be alive, and we have to stop the unaliving of them.
What's the force involved here of making the woman have the child? What's the force mechanism?
the force mechanism would be if you deny someone the choice to have an EB, then you're forcing them to have the child if they're lucky enough to get to that point, right?
I actually didn't. I actually didn't ask. I didn't ask. So that is actually a
Ooh,
good
the
question.
noise, Snorpheus. I'm on mute.
That is actually a good question that I would ask of Snorpheus. Do you think women should be punished if they try and get an abortion or try to force a miscarriage?
If they know the law and they break it, yeah.
So then what would happen if they try and do it while they're in prison? After you've already imprisoned them? Would you quite literally tie them down to force them to have birth?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that.
So that's the one where he's willing to think about, but he's not willing to put all that much thought into caring for the children after they've been born. That's
okay.
Is denial an act of
Hold on, Ella. Do you want human trafficking to stop? How many kids have you adopted from human trafficking?
How does that tie into this conversation?
Because you're telling me that I truly don't care for something unless I'm taking action at every single point of the consequence. But that's not true. I can advocate for one stage of the consequence to be nullified and not have to do all that extra stuff.
But,
like you can care about
having the children in this world is a logical result from advocating against abortion. So you should probably take it the whole way through and not just stop at the part that's less convenient for you.
Yeah, and people and children who have been sex trafficked, a lot of their parents have been unalived, and they have no one else to go to. So you should be adopting them.
You should be adopting them. What the hell are you talking about? You're the one who cares about the child being born.
Wait, Faustin, is she okay with human trafficking? Are you implying that she's okay with human trafficking?
That is not the topic of conversation, and you know that. That's just a hard reach to the left. You're just like, okay, let's go with human trafficking.
No, that's exactly what we were just talking about, actually. That was my example.
Are we okay with gun violence?
No.
Are you okay with gun violence? Are you okay with kids being killed in school? Okay, so then advocate for having no guns.
That's what I'm saying. Just because you care about something doesn't mean you need to advocate for.
That's not what you're saying. That's not what you're saying.
Why do you interrupt me every time, bro? Just let me respond. You're showing big low IQ, bro.
Big low IQ sounds like internet talk to me.
Hold on.
We're on the internet, aren't we?
If you're gonna ask him a question, you have to give him a chance to answer it.
Faustin, you gotta control your emotions, little man.
Okay, stop. Don't do that shit. Now you're just trying to fucking provoke the nonsense.
I just think that if it is my opinion that if you're going to be pro-life, you need to be genuinely pro-life. I hear your argument, and I don't think that it fully relates. If you're going to force women to bring children in this world, then you also need to make sure that there is something in place to make sure those children are being cared for to the fullest extent possible. And but you haven't actually thought through as to what that would look like. And I think that then falls short. Your argument to me just falls short.
No, that's not true. Because what I'm advocating for is what I'm advocating for. You creating a logical extension from what I'm advocating for doesn't nullify what I'm advocating for.
Why,
so if
why be pro-life if you're not willing to care for the life?
Does force justify force?
If they're born, they already have laws protecting them from being unalived, Ella. Do you agree with me on that?
But you don't. That doesn't mean that they have a life. Agree? That doesn't mean that they're going to get food. That doesn't mean that they're going to be cared for. That doesn't mean that they're going to get in school. That doesn't mean shit. It just means that they're now a baby in this world. And then what?
Well, force would require the parent to take care of it.
Well, that's true of even wanted babies, right, Ella? So pretty much you're saying it's justified in unaliving all life because they have the potential to not be fed. That's ridiculous.
Well, wouldn't force
No, I'm just saying I am just engaging with your part of the argument. My part of the argument would be stay the fuck away from my body. I do what I want. But we're not talking about that.
You're okay with force. But wait, you're okay with force. You're okay with force on my body.
What are you talking
about? Who are you talking to?
Yeah, well, because if you're advocating for somebody to feed the child outside of the person who's supposed to do it, you have to use force in order to make that happen. So why do
Well,
you get
that's the predicament you put yourself in by
who,
telling
me?
women they can't have ABs. Like, fucking
I
fix
didn't
it.
tell
Your
anybody
problem
that.
now.
Wait, I didn't tell anybody that. So why do you get to use force on me
Well,
then?
then, because then she's talking about the person that's actually forcing,
Okay, but she
not
said
you.
if
Yeah,
you don't get the right to force on me, on my body, then why do you get the right to force on me, on my body?
but you already
Yes,
did the
Sammy.
force. That's the point I'm trying
I
to
didn't do
make. You
Wait,
anything.
hold
already
on. No, wait, hold
forced the
on.
woman.
What force are you talking about, Galt?
Yeah, so in order to provide resources to the child, you have to take it from somebody who is laboring, and you have to do that through force,
Okay, so
right? So you're
then we can just tax those fucking people that want to force women to have the fetus
Yeah.
or want to force women to not being able to abort the fetus, and we can just tax those people, and those people are required then to pay for it, and you're not.
okay. So you
I'm
want like
sorry,
a
Legend.
ballot
I completely
box
forgot.
people who want to force women to have ABs to also force to tax them to pay for it?
Yeah, if they want to force women to have the birth, to go through the birth of a fetus, then they are forced to pay for it.
Is denial force?
What?
Is what?
Oh my
Denial
god.
an act of force?
I don't
What
know.
kind of gibberish stuff are you saying?
It's not gibberish. It's what
If
I told you
you if
earlier,
you
Kevin.
How
I
is it
don't
want
know
to
what you're
force
gibberish?
I
birth,
said
if
this
you
I
earlier.
don't know what you're asking, Galt.
it's
Well, because
weird.
you're saying that they're being forced, and I'm saying how are they being?
They
What's the
are
force
being
mechanism?
forced.
This
What?
No,
guy
look,
wants to
I can
this
connect
guy
the
wants to
disconnect.
force all pregnancies to go to term.
How is
No,
he
listen.
forcing
He's
it?
saying the denial. Okay, he's saying the denial is the government denying women from having a special right to unalive their child. Remember
It's
how I
not
was
a
talking about
special
No,
it's not a
it's a
special right. It's not a
it
special
is.
it's
They
right.
just a
actually
It's
logical
men
not
aren't allowed to do that.
result.
it is not a special right. It is the
Men,
ability of a
men aren't
woman to
allowed.
talk to her hello, it is the ability of a woman to make a decision for her own fucking body between her and her doctor, and whatever decision they make, it's the decision that she makes.
Yeah,
You want to force yourself into the middle of that decision making process.
Well,
yeah.
isn't he
And the
part of
point I'm
society?
trying
Doesn't he get that right to
Right
do
to
that?
make the decision.
to
And
the
Without
if he
point.
without going down an entire moral road, an entire
Oh
road of
god, here's
everything
wait,
Steve.
stop,
leading.
Steve. Ella was trying to get in here. Sorry.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make isn't even about bodily autonomy anymore. It's just about the logical result. If you deny a woman to have an AB, then in turn you force her to carry the birth, like to carry the term to full and birth the child if and when she gets there, right? Like nature might intervene. But I'm just saying, like, it's just a logical result.
So
And
is
if that's the
Yeah,
denial
the
case,
argument I took a
then
time earlier.
the outcome of the child being born, if the woman is not able to care for the child, and men decided to put in a law that she could not have that she would not have had any other choice, then men that put in the law should also put in a system where those children are being taken care of. And that's the point all of you are happily overlooking because that's just inconvenient.
Wait,
No, I'm not overlooking
He's
it. I'm
right.
actually testing your consistency, and I think that's where things are slipping up because you're saying society should grant this sort of right through the government, and if the government
Grant
is
what right?
denying the right, huh?
What right?
Grant
What right
what
are you
right?
talking about?
There is no right.
Well,
There
the
is
right
no
to
right.
bodily
You are
autonomy.
denying
There,
rights.
there is
Well,
no right in the Constitution or
No,
federal laws.
no.
Any of
Hold
this.
on. You got to listen to what he said. I asked
I
him a
am
yeah, I never
question.
even
You
listening.
got
said
to.
the
Last
What did
Constitution.
he
fucking 20
just say the
minutes.
right was? What did he just say the right was? You guys didn't hear it.
I
He said
didn't.
the right.
Is
He said
everyone
that the
listening?
state. You want the state. You want the state to grant the right to bodily autonomy. That's
Right.
what he said.
That's what you guys want.
Why is
We
that
want
something
Roe
that should be
versus
You mean
Wade.
granted
open
by the
space, bro?
state?
I love you.
Does the right exist absent of government, or do you want the government to grant it?
We want to
Yep,
go
that's
to stare decisis decision that happened in 1973 that was enacted because women were unaliving not left, right, and sideways prior to that due to unsanitary conditions in which they had ABs in back alleys. That's what
That's
we
what
want to go back to. We want the right that we had for 50 years.
Who
yeah,
gave you
that's what
that
I
right?
was trying to that's what I was
The
trying to bring
Supreme
up.
Court decided on it.
And that you can get that back. You just have to argue it the correct way. The problem with Roe is that it was argued under the wrong amendment. It shouldn't have been about privacy. It should have been about the 14th Amendment and the fact that the 14th Amendment clearly uses the word born because we don't give citizenship to the unborn because they're not persons. If we don't grant them personhood, we can't grant them citizenship, which is clearly stated in the 14th Amendment, and we can't grant them, and if we don't grant them personhood, they don't have any rights. And we can solve this entire fucking thing.
Wait a second. The
Just to
Constitution
be
doesn't grant
clear,
rights.
Just to be clear, the case was decided under the Fourth Amendment right to privacy and the 14th Amendment equal protection of the laws. It's
Correct, but
cited in the decision.
even Ginsburg
So
wrote an opinion that it was argued incorrectly and should have been argued under the fact that the 14th Amendment clearly uses the word born for a reason.
Yeah, but can
okay,
we talk
so
about the fact
I
that the Constitution doesn't grant rights? It protects
I'm going to
them?
tell you. I'm going to tell you that it grants rights.
Okay. Well, then if it grants you rights, then you don't have it.
Then you don't
So
have
what are we talking about?
so
Then you don't have what?
You don't have right to bodily autonomy or abortion because the Constitution doesn't
You
grant it to
do.
you.
What
You
are you
do
talking
because you have
Okay.
the right to not to be forced to quarter. You have the right to equal protection under the law. You have the right to be secure in your people and persons. You do have the right to bodily autonomy.
Well, but like
Well,
the Constitution.
so I'm sorry, Anarchist, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say that. I mean, the Constitution isn't proactively providing you rights. It's a limitation on government's ability
disagree.
to act.
I disagree.
I agree.
And so
Mojo.
it's basically saying the government is incapable of acting in these areas where, you know, I guess in some cases the states preserve authority, but for the most part, the individuals at this point within corporation, the individuals preserve authority over these areas, and the government has a limited ability to act. That the entire framework of the Constitution is that it's a charter of limited powers for the government.
I don't agree with that.
It's not about it granting rights. It's about the Constitution defining what a person is by using the word born.
All persons
If you-
born
if
or
you- if you read-
naturalized in the United States, any subject therefore of, are citizens of the United States, and
Correct.
wherein they reside, and no state shall make or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor any state deprive any person of life, liberty, property without the due process of law, nor denying any person with its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law.
Expanded on, which means we can't give citizenship to the unborn because they don't have personhood. Any person who is born or naturalized who has personhood is automatically a citizen based on what that says. So therefore, you can determine that they can't be a citizen if they're not a person, and what makes them a person is being born. So it solves this entire fucking conundrum.
That is irrelevant to the conversation we're having.
How
I'm
is
not
it
going to
relevant?
disagree. I'm not going to disagree that it's kind of it's a poorly constructed decision, but nevertheless, it was the decision. It was the supreme law of the land, and women had a right. They were granted a right that they held under the Fourth and the 14th Amendment, and that right was taken away from them 50 years later. So I'm not going to, yes, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights grants rights. And that right was taken away from women. I don't know how you can argue anything different.
It doesn't grant rights. It prevents the government from trampling on the rights that society grants you.
Hence,
does.
it gives you rights.
Well, not technically.
No, the rights existed. They're just defining.
No, the rights did not
Correct.
exist. If the rights existed, they would not have to have been written down.
Well, so that was like the whole debate over actually adopting the Bill of Rights, right? Because an entire body of the people, when they were drafting it, said, we don't want a Bill of Rights because we don't want to create the presumption in future generations that the rights of the people are limited to those that we enumerate. And the other group of people said, no, these are so important. We need to make sure that the government has no authority to act in these areas. But this exact discussion was the thing that was being discussed at the ratification of the Bill of Rights.
Okay, so here we
but at
are.
the end of the
Here we
day,
are. Here we
yes,
are. Here we
yes.
are with the Bill of Rights.
But
Right.
the
You can
right,
go back to the arguments all you want, about why we should have those Bill of Rights or not. But the fact of the matter is we got them and we've relied on them.
But I mean, that's not the distinction I'm making. I'm saying when they're drafting this, everyone agreed that this was not going to be granting anyone any rights. And in fact, the entire group of people said we shouldn't
But
even put this in there.
it did grant them the rights by defining what those rights were.
The right to free speech is a right.
Yeah.
The right to bear arms is a right.
Right, but they pre-existed. Like this is the entire idea
If
that's
they
behind social
pre-existed, they would not
contract
have.
theory.
If they pre-existed, they would not have to have been written down.
the
They
right
didn't
to bear arms absolutely predated the Constitution.
Yeah, I don't understand. I feel like we're kind of talking past each other because I think we probably
Yeah,
agree.
because you guys are just wrong. You guys are wrong. The Constitution granted rights, it codified those rights, and it protects those rights. That's the reason that we create states. That's the only reason we have states.
Yeah, I mean, it does protect the rights for sure.
Grants you those rights.
No,
it protects the rights.
I
agree
no,
with
it
that.
created the rights. The rights didn't exist before that.
Well, the government didn't exist before that, so there's no one to take them away.
Exactly. There were no rights before governments.
Yes, there was.
There are no rights in the state of nature.
What happens when the state withers away? Are there no rights?
There are no rights. Then there are no rights again.
Well, you should probably retract your Marxism then.
Why am I listening to humming?
I'm sorry, that was my daughter.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you could hear it. I'm sorry.
There are no rights in the state of nature. The only reason we have rights is because we have a constitution where they were codified and written down, and they are protected by government.
What does codified mean, Mojo?
Passed, legalized, become law.
Right. So if it was passed, it had to exist before it was passed in government, did it not?
They were written down, and then they were codified. They were decided on by a group of people, and then they were codified.
So if the Supreme Court rules on something like Roe versus Wade, right, and the legislature doesn't codify it, then it's subject to being overturned. But if the legislature had codified it, which there were times when that could have happened, and they didn't, so it subjected it to the vulnerability of being overturned.
So I think when it comes to AB, and this is my 2 cents, the people involved in the conversation should probably be the ones who either have carried children, plan to carry children, can carry children, or have children. If none of this applies to you, then I don't know why you're involved in this. Why can I not? Yes, I can.
If that's the case, then all laws on taxation should only apply to taxpayers and no one else.
No, this applies to women's bodies. So like,
well, this applies to my body.
How my tax money gets spent.
How does it apply to your body? It does not.
Yeah, because my body is the labor. I use my body for labor, and you're saying that you have a right to it, but yet you don't even use your body. So how are you?
I am only speaking to the topic of AB. Only
yeah, I know your preference.
AB.
Yes, your preference. I get it.
We're talking about a specific right, okay? We're talking about a specific case.
But it's tied to our body parts. Like, you cannot do it. So why do you get to have a say in it?
Well, if you can't labor, so then should disabled people not be able to decide taxation?
Listen, Ella,
that would work.
That would only make sense.
Like, are you born with a uterus or not?
Ella, that would only apply
Are you
if there
born
wasn't
with a
another
uterus or
body.
not? Are you born with a uterus or not?
No, but I can
That
get
would
one.
only apply. That would only apply if there wasn't another life in the equation.
So only
You
people
always skip
born
over
with a
that part.
uterus?
It doesn't matter. You can't have
It
a
matters
law.
to me. As a woman, it matters to me. And I've had 2
Yeah, but that's the
abortions.
problem
Come
with that
at
is that's
me.
not an argument.
I don't care about AB at all. I think anyone who wants one should be able to get one legally and morally. I don't give a rat's ass,
I
personally.
just hate that
But
I really hate that we have to sit here and listen to all this whatever gobbledygook that comes out of you men's mouths on it, thinking that, and then
You
not
hate
even
that you have to
being
listen to
willing.
men?
No, this specific topic, y'all are fucking getting under my skin. This specific topic is it's literally specific to the body parts that you have and what you can and cannot do with it. And we're still going over, but the fetus. Like, listen, we already know there are so many exceptions to this. Whether it's regular grape, marital grape, it doesn't fucking matter. In
Okay,
all
so
of
do you
these
have a right to
instances,
speak on
it
trans issues then for
always,
men?
in all of these issues, it always results in men telling women what they can and cannot do with their body.
Okay, do you have a right then to
yeah.
talk about men's bodies when it comes to trans issues?
I don't talk about men's bodies when
I'm
it
just
comes to
asking you,
trans
do you?
issues. I just simply try to say that they have the right to do whatever they want to do, and I say the same thing about women in abortion.
Why do you have that right though?
I'm sorry, because
you're
it's
not
my
a man.
fucking body.
You're not a man though.
Are
Why
you gonna
speaking
tie
on
me
men?
to the bed and grate me to make sure I have children?
Okay, but you're making the claim that men can't speak about women's bodies. Why could women do the same about men's bodies then?
We
Because
don't.
it's only men making the laws that affect women. It's not.
That's not the case.
That is the fucking case. Why are we having 6-week of fucking abortion bans when people don't even know that they're fucking pregnant until fucking 9 or 10 weeks when they could actually start showing?
Because there wasn't enough people in that state to put it on the ballot and change it. Lots of states have done it. Michigan did it. Ohio did it. Like, if that's what the people want, that's what they can have.
I have
states
physically
that
been to many public bathrooms and have yet to be checked by any woman checking my testicles before I enter. I cannot say the same for women
If
on
you
the other
only
end.
if you only want women involved in this process, Ella, then you better run around and get the whole fucking bunch of women to agree with you and get them to pass a law that's saying that this is codified and protected. Because you can't expect
I
me.
genuinely
You can't
hope.
expect me. You can't expect me to vote yes on whatever bill you want to put forth if you can't expect me or will not allow me to be part of the conversation.
But the way in which people are part of the conversation is not fair.
I'm on
They
your
make the
side.
conversation only about the fetus and completely ignore women's rights.
I'm literally
It's
on your
not
side, and
even
they're telling
it's
me that I
not
don't
even
get
that
it.
in most of these cases people are willing to seek a balance.
No, the balance is that women already have the right that we're trying to extend to the fetus. They have the right to life.
That is
This is
not a
disgusting.
fucking balance.
Wait,
That
I'm
is a
gonna
balance.
tell you-
Everyone has the
I'm
right to
gonna tell
life.
you
That's
that-
equality.
I'm going to tell you.
You're
I'm gonna
advocating
tell
for
you.
inequality.
Wait, you're wrong. Nobody has the right to life in this country. Not a single fucking person.
The
Like there are
Declaration's
so many
independent.
cases
It's
in
trouble.
which the women didn't. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Well, Mojo said that nobody had the right to life, and I said the Declaration of Independence stated otherwise.
Yeah, but they don't. Because if there is a life-saving healthcare decision that can be made to save the life of a person, and that person can't afford it, then you all are going to tell them to fuck the straight the hell off and die. There is no right to life in this country.
Actually, they're gonna do the procedure anyway. Oh fuck! They're gonna do the procedure anyway and charge you. That's just what. Yeah,
No.
they're gonna save your life.
No, that's incorrect. They will not always make that decision to do that procedure.
I
But
thought they
that
were
They're
doesn't
not forced
required
actually
to.
to.
This
They're not forced
this
to
While,
either.
whole
while I
this whole
agree with you
conversation.
that they should be that we should find a way to pay for that, and they should be forced to save your life. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the right to life. The right to life doesn't mean that someone is forced to prevent natural causes from occurring to you. It means that no one can take your life away from you and it be justified. Those are two different
And we
meanings.
shouldn't and we shouldn't be forced. We should not be forced to use our bodies to sustain another. No one's asking you as men to do the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
And
I
to
agree
take
with you.
risks with our body, of which there are a multitude. And forcing a woman to undergo 9 months of having a fetus in her body, and that it's all going to go hunky dory, and that we're going to get this, bouncing baby at the end of it, is not a decision of a man.
Hey, so North, I have a question.
Yo.
Did you say that you're against what do you call it, birth control?
I don't think I am. That stops conception, right? It prevents it.
Yeah, it prevents it.
But
Yeah, then
that's
no, I
the
wouldn't be
thing,
against
like,
it.
I am not
you
no.
don't think you are, and
Hold
you
on,
had to
I want to.
confirm whether or not it's stop. Like, who the fuck are you to have
He didn't
such
have.
big opinions
He
on
didn't
something
have
you
an.
don't
He
know
didn't
shit
have an opinion.
about?
He didn't have an opinion on it.
But he has an opinion
But I
on
want to.
what the woman does with her body, but he doesn't
He
know
hasn't.
what birth control
But I
does.
want to hear what he. I want
The
to hear what he
fuck
says.
world we live in.
I want to hear what he says. What was that you were trying to say? Say it again. Like, what's your stance on it?
He said he's not against birth control.
Yeah. If
Oh,
it
okay.
prevents conception, then I'm not against it.
Okay, I thought I heard you say you were against it. I was going to ask you. I was going to quiz you on that. But did you also try to compare abortions to like slavery?
No, I didn't.
No.
What I was comparing was the arguments made to abolitionists of the 19th century. They're the same arguments.
What is it? What are the same arguments?
My body, my choice, my property, my prerogative, don't like a slave, don't own one, don't like abortion, don't have one, these kinds of things.
Are you talking about a fetus, which is basically a clump of cells with no sentience, versus a full grown human that is experiencing everything and that knows what it is?
They're both human, dude. Yeah.
But still, one is basically a clump of cells with no sentience versus an actual full grown human.
Yeah, we all were clump of cells with a lack of
Yeah,
sentience.
but how's there a comparison? I mean, would you compare a fucking? I mean, I
Because
can
I don't
say
believe in
that.
sentient rights, I believe in human rights.
Yeah,
You
like
don't believe in human rights?
the word on your big toes technically gets human rights then, right?
The
Say
question
it again?
the question you have to ask yourself when you're talking about that is, does capacity matter? If you're going to make an argument that something is something else, just because it has the capacity to become something else, you have to prove that. And no one has successfully been able to prove that a fetus is in fact a person just because it has the capacity to become a person. And no one ever will.
Well, and this is why we had the discussion about somebody kept on life support after they're brain dead as well. At first he said
No,
that
actually, sorry.
at first he said that he wanted people to be kept on life support because the human life is what matters, and then he started questioning that afterwards. I'm not sure where he came out on the end of this, but as far as I know, he still thinks that human beings that are hooked up to life support and living should be kept alive on life support even if they are brain dead.
But
Yeah, but
Synorpheus,
really quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Did you juxtapose that women are considering their own bodies as property?
No, it's so my body, my choice. I would say that argument is analogous to my property, my prerogative.
Well, that would have to assume that women are viewing their own bodies as property.
They should. Their
Oh,
bodies
then
own their
sure.
own property.
Yeah, sure.
How is it
Yeah,
property?
sure.
It's not something that
But
we
hold on, I
can
want to
like, put
respond to what
somewhere and
Steve
leave
said
behind.
really quickly.
It's our
I
fucking
want to.
body.
Wait.
Yeah, I just want to respond to what Steve said really quickly. Steve, can you repeat what you said just really quickly? Sorry.
I said
Wait. If
your body is your property.
No.
I don't
Before that,
think any
about the life
human
inside the
bodies are
womb and
property.
proving that.
That would be my
Oh,
position.
I said that when you make this argument about, you're making an argument about capacity. And your argument is that just because something has the capacity to become something else means that it is that something else. And you would have to prove that. And nobody has been successful in proving that something is something
No. The
else just
argument isn't
because it
about
has the
capacity,
capacity to
actually.
become that. It's exactly
No,
about
it's
that.
a
I'm
no.
simply
It's not
trying
about
to
potentiality.
get to the root here. I think that it's a salacious or fictitious argument to try and link property to human bodies. I don't feel that women view their own bodies as property. So it's a non-parallel. You cannot compare it to slavery.
Wait, Ella just said she does.
Well, I'm
It
just
is her
comparing the
property.
argument.
I said
I
I
mean, I guess if
don't.
you.
You don't consider your body property, your property?
No, how like
Or how about
property is
So whose
something.
property is
Property
it?
is. Oh my god. I, I I should have known better and just like left when I got up
how
here.
about this?
Uh,
How about
but no, hold on. How is it property? It's not something that we acquire over time. It's not something that you purchase. It's not something that you can put somewhere and leave, and someone else accidentally bumps into it and says, "Hey, you damaged my property." Like we can't separate ourselves from it. Like this is who we are. This is, how is that property? It
Your
is
body,
us. It is who we are as a human being. Without
correct, but
it, we are not a thing. It's like what?
your own body being your property and solely your property for no one else to touch or have any jurisdiction over is the entire basis for arguments of bodily autonomy. Like that's not a route you want to go down.
That's not what they say in any of the case law. I'm
That's
just going to say it's our body. It's our body. It's
yeah,
not, we don't talk about our body in terms of property. And it's
What
not.
what
yeah,
has
and
gotten in?
in that
okay?
particular instance, if you talk about somebody committing a crime, can we actually put them in prison? If you're considering them property, you absolutely cannot.
If if you if you are mugged, how can you consider somebody mugging you against the law if you are not if you don't own yourself?
I'm sorry, repeat that. I was
If
distracted.
you are mugged, how can you expect to put somebody in jail for mugging you if you do not own your own body?
They mugged and took the property you had on you. It's not like they took your arm.
Well, then use SA as an example.
Wait,
It's a
so what
trespass against
what
your
happens
body.
if wait, hold on. What happens if they do take your arm?
They've assaulted you. That's
Yeah,
just
that was
assault.
yeah. That's not
It's
mugging
assaulted
anymore.
you. Mugging can be assault and, theft,
Yeah, but listen, in
right?
this context,
Assault
we
against
could use them
who?
interchangeably. It's not a big
Assault
deal.
Against
assault
a human
against who?
being. Against a
Any
human being.
no, against you specifically. And
Right.
why does that
Against me
matter?
as a
Why does that
human
matter?
being.
If you don't own your own self, if you don't make your own decisions, then why does it matter?
Well, in those
For my
cases, right, it's the
sanity,
state that's actually enforcing it, so it's like the state owns you. I mean, because
for my sanity,
you're not. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering, for my sanity, why the fuck are we even arguing this? Why
Yeah, I feel like
I
it's
don't know
deviating
how
a
we
bit.
got here.
It's the
Actually,
legalese. I'm sorry, tennis, but it's the
Yeah,
legalese
but
for bodily autonomy.
Yeah, it 100%
okay,
is.
does that come out of Roe versus Wade? That it's
No.
our body is our property? Is that what it says? Because I don't
Yeah,
remember in
because the
that
Fourth
reading that.
Amendment yes, because the Fourth Amendment specifically talks about property, right?
No, it talks about the right to privacy. That's what the
Well,
Fourth Amendment talks about.
and
Okay,
you're
Wait,
and
no,
also I
there
would
the Fourth
just
Amendment
remind us that
doesn't say privacy anywhere. Privacy is never mentioned in the Constitution.
I
but
feel
the
like I'm going
Fourth Amendment,
crazy.
it was carved out of the Fourth Amendment.
yeah. The
And
reasonable
the Supreme Court,
expectation of privacy is what is protected under the Fourth Amendment. So
right.
you have
So
to have it.
then
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry. You Go
No,
ahead. You're
I was
probably
just
going to
saying
say
that.
what I'm going to say, but
Yeah,
the
I'm
14th
sorry. I
just
didn't mean to talk over you. Yeah,
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The things you can only have a expectation of expectation of security in things that you have a reasonable expectation of privacy in. So those are the only things that are protected from search and seizure under the Fourth Amendment, or those things you have a reasonable expectation of privacy in. So that's where that came from in the as far as the Fourth Amendment is concerned.
But also, would you agree with me, anarchist lawyer? Is that what?
Yeah,
that in addition to the Fourth Amendment and the right to privacy,
There
that
is no
right.
right to privacy.
It says it doesn't say it in the Fourth Amendment, but the court noted that they granted Roe versus Wade under the idea of a
Yes,
right
and they
to
have now
privacy,
taken it
and
away.
in
They have now
addition,
taken it. They have now
why
taken it
won't you
away.
let me finish, Mojo?
Because they
Let
have
me
now
finish.
taken it. They have now taken it away, which means we
Right.
don't have the right to privacy.
Right,
Well,
which is why Roe was argued
just,
under the
but
wrong way.
please note, it's well to note that in addition to the Fourth Amendment and the right to privacy, as stated by the Roe Court, that it was decided also under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, and you can read that in the decision.
Well,
Okay,
also
but Roe
they
has been
found
overturned.
so they found the right to
Understood, but I'm just saying what the doctrine was.
the right to privacy they actually found to be a distinct right underneath the substantive due process clause of the 14th Amendment. So they actually did find a right to privacy under substantive due process in the 14th Amendment, but then they took that away. So that's where the right to privacy actually came from. They likened it to your reasonable expectation of privacy in the
But
Fourth.
we don't have it today.
No, I'm not saying that we
understood.
do.
It was
I'm not saying we
overturned.
do. She
And
was
we
just
didn't have it, and we didn't have it pre-1973 either.
Not for ABs, no. So
Not for anything.
Not for anything else either.
well, we did have the right to unreasonable search and seizure, and the right to feel secure in our persons and property under the Fourth Amendment.
Yes. So
That's where it was carved out of.
So your pocket can't be searched and your house can't be searched. But they can search your body cavities, can't they?
Well, I mean,
if you're going into prison,
with a warrant or with
Yeah.
you know,
They don't even have to have a warrant if they take you
no,
to
if
prison,
you are, they do cavity searches when you are going into a prison situation.
into custody. Yeah, I mean, it's just different. You have your rights are already diminished at that point.
I don't know why
Does
anyone would argue against their body being theirs and solely their property. Like, why would you not argue in favor of that?
I
It doesn't
don't.
make any sense to me.
You know what? I think what you guys
Wait, I
you're
wanna
getting
hold
really
on,
in the
hold
weeds on a
hold
semantic.
Hold on.
This is kind of
Ella.
dumb.
Wait, Ella has been trying to talk, and she won't interrupt, so I'm going to give her the chance to talk.
Oh,
She just dropped.
Okay.
Hey, Sinorf, I have another question.
Well, hold on.
Should,
Can I respond to Steve first? Just really quickly?
Sure.
All right, so Steve was talking about a necessary requirement to prove the capacity or something like that, but that's not even the argument. Okay, that capacity is already fulfilled. It already is the thing, Steve. So I don't understand.
we're all aware that we're all aware that the capacity is fulfilled, but that doesn't equal causation. The capacity doesn't mean you are the thing that you're claiming to be just because you have the capacity to become that. I could go to law school, I could become a lawyer, I have the capacity to do that, but that doesn't make me a lawyer.
Okay, but what I'm trying to tell you is this isn't a capacity argument. They are the thing at conception.
No, they're not.
Okay, so let's go further back.
Well, they are. That's just, we can go through embryology again, like I said.
Let's go further back. Should men be tried for murder if they basically choke the chicken?
No, he's already gone through this. We've already gone.
No, I already gone through this, bro. Sperm cells are only half the genetic material needed for reproduction.
But their life though, their life, they have to.
It's not human life. I believe in human rights, not life rights.
They come from a human, right?
Whether it comes from a human or not, it's still not a human.
So does saliva, bro. Like, what are you saying right now?
My point is your argument is largely philosophical. It's not scientific. It's just based on what your personal beliefs are. It doesn't
Yeah,
really
it's his
matter.
moral code. It's his
Yeah,
own moral code.
it's not based on
Yeah, but
any scientific
but
findings.
the argument with Steve is not philosophical; it's embryological and biological.
No, it's not. You're assuming that a zygote is endowed personhood by law, and it's
Not,
not.
I
he's
didn't
not
say that. I
saying
never said
person.
that.
He never. I think y'all are talking past each other because you're just defining like the right to protection at personhood. He's only protecting humans, and so a fetus is a human, but arguably not a person under the definition of personhood. So y'all are just kind of talking past each other.
It's not a human either
Well, it
until
is.
birth.
It is a human.
No, it's
Um,
not.
it,
It's
I
a
mean,
zygote. It can't
it's
survive without the
It's a zygote.
mother's. It cannot survive outside the mother's womb until
Bro, do you know
22
all the
weeks.
stages of human development?
Are you asking
Do you know
me?
all the stages of human development, Steve?
Yeah. What's
Okay,
your
so you
point?
know it goes that a zygote is the earliest stage of human development, meaning it's
So
alive, it's going
right
through cell
again. So
division, and it's developing.
you're making a capacity argument. You're making the argument that
No, it already
that the
is
zygote
human.
is a. No, it's not. It cannot
I just
survive on its
explained how it
own.
is.
It cannot breathe. It cannot
I
eat.
know,
It
bro.
cannot
This isn't a
respirate.
viability argument. It's not a viability argument.
so. Can I
You
ask a
cannot make
question?
the argument that a zygote is a human being until the point of viability. That is impossible. You're
That's
only basing
what
that
do you mean?
argument based
When
on
is
capacity.
Okay, show me in any textbook where viability is the definitive factor of human life.
How is it not?
Yeah.
It can't survive.
Well, you
Neither
can
can a
ask the
one-week
row
old
What
dude without
course.
viability
assistance.
means.
Okay, so you're
But the one
making
week
a
old is already
A one-week
capacity.
disconnected.
old can't survive on its own.
But the 1 week old
Okay,
is already disconnected from the mom. Is basically no longer
Okay,
like a parasite.
you guys, we're gonna
What
go
does that
one
have
at
to
a.
do with its
We're
life?
going to go one at a time here. There are other
Okay.
people that are trying to get in, and everybody's speaking over everybody else. So
You're making a
I know.
capacity argument.
Wait,
Oh, hold
shut
on.
up, Steve. You're the one of the problems here. Tennis was trying to talk. Somebody else was trying to talk to. I don't remember who. But
well, I was just going to say that under the law, in Roe versus Wade, that now I fucking lost my train of thought, but I'll get it back. You're saying viability is not the argument. So you want to go back to your moral code arguments, right? Which is your opinion, right? And I'm not gonna. I disagree with you, but the case, the viability, that's what the case was decided on in 1973 was viability. So I don't know if you want to make this, if you want to talk about capacity, but the viability argument is that this zygote cannot survive outside the womb until 22 weeks, roughly.
Yeah, but Tennis, you can't appeal to the law when you're talking about these kind of things, because even you don't believe that. You don't believe
The
just
law
because
is
it was
all that
done through the
matters.
law.
Well, don't tell me what I don't believe or what I
So
believe,
hold on.
first of
In
all.
the 19th century, Steve, would you have supported chattel slavery because it was lawful?
Stop comparing those
I
two.
mean,
Not the same.
yeah. First of all, it's
No,
not
no,
the
no.
same
Hold
thing.
on.
And second of
They're
all,
both laws. Hold on. What's my comparison? Can you steel man me, please?
what?
Am I comparing abortion to slavery?
It seems like you are.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
you
even
Well,
seem
know.
to
yeah,
be.
He
but
did
I'm
at the
not though.
beginning with
no,
referring to
he's
property.
talking about the fallacy of an appeal to legality. That's what he's talking
Thank
about.
you. Thank you. You're so
It's
good, Faith
not an
Mojo. I love you, man.
it's
Yeah.
not
I've
an
been
appeal to
following you, but I would have
legality to
followed you
say
again.
that in this decision, the legal definition is all that matters. Nothing else is
Well,
relevant.
that is an appeal to legality. If you're saying
May
that's all
I?
that matters, what?
May I?
That
Okay.
is
Go ahead.
fallacious because that is fallacious because what he said is correct. That if it's appeal to legality, then when we had slavery, that was okay because it was legal.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, okay,
Sure,
maybe
that doesn't
understood.
so.
make it
But the
that
thing
doesn't make
is,
it morally justified. But the
It
legality
does.
of it is all that matters.
If you appeal to legality, then you are morally justifying slavery. That is the
okay,
argument he's
but
I'm,
making.
no,
however,
that's
however,
not how that works.
what happened with slavery? It was abolished.
So
We have
was
the
Roe.
13th Amendment.
So was Roe.
Understood. Understood. But that's why we're arguing, because it was sent back to the states, and we've got so many unalivings and a terribly unjust result. And if you want to go ahead and send landmark decisions that involve people's rights back to states, then you can go ahead and overturn desegregation. And all those southern states can start fucking segregating again.
There's two ways to look at this. There's two ways to look at the morality of this. You can either A, claim that morals come from society and what society deems good in the overwhelming majority vote in a democratic process, or you can deem that morals come from a book, whichever book you subscribe to. Those are the only two ways to look at it. In this country, we use option A. So if we're going to say that the morality of AB comes from the majority decision of the people, then the case is that AB is moral because it's passed in every fucking state that it's been
I
put on the
disagree.
ballot.
I disagree. I disagree that morality comes from the codification of rights. Morality is something distinct. Each person can hold their own morality. You and I can have different moralities while living under the same system of law.
Sure, but then how do we objectify it as right or wrong to each other? We can't.
Well, I agree with Mojo. I mean, look at there's a lot of really quick,
bro.
may I? I mean, really quick, I agree with Mojo. There are a lot of laws I think we'd all agree that we don't agree with, and it goes against our own moral code. I mean, I can't right now. I have to sit and think about it. But we don't agree on all the laws that have been enacted by Congress or our states.
But
right?
in
We don't.
most cases, the majority of people do. That's the whole point of our process. That's how it's supposed to work. Sometimes it fails, yes, but the whole point is that's how it's supposed to work. Law is supposed to be derived from the morality of the people as a whole.
So if morality is decided by 50 plus 1, then what kind of life or system have we designed?
Well, it's usually a two-thirds
democracy
thing,
works.
right? Congress writes laws, and it takes more than 51% to get a law through Congress.
It's also like a
No, it actually takes 51% without the filibuster rule, and the filibuster rule wasn't put into place with the passing of the Constitution. That was a rule that was added later. So if you go strictly on constitutional rights or constitutional ability to pass laws, it would only be 50% plus 1.
I think it's also really hard to substantiate that all of our laws are based in the morality of the majority. In fact, a lot of our laws have really no like tangential connection to morality at all. They're like administrative, regulatory, procedural,
Yeah, but those are different. So they don't have anything to do with morality.
Well, but you just said all law had a basis in the morality of the majority.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of them.
a law that
I'm
would
sorry.
have anything to do with rights of people and whatnot. Most people could
just
give a
those-
rat's ass about the morality of tax code.
I mean,
Well,
a lot of
so-
them do. Like, when you have laws in all 50 states that make it illegal to unalive somebody or to assault somebody, things like that. Things that have to do with protecting people against harm, right? A lot of that's based on morality, no doubt. I understand what you're saying.
I would also like to know how it's fallacious, Mojo, because if we're appealing to legality, like even back then, like Philadelphia and Pennsylvania as a whole issued slavery as illegal in 1770. This was before the founding of the country. So we can absolutely like point to that legality right there and say it's a non-starter. You can't say that I would support slavery in the 19th or 18th century, even when we had states already that outlawed it.
I didn't say that you would have to support it. I said that you would have to accept it.
Well, they didn't even accept it in those eras either.
Well, but they accepted it in the rest of the country, and it is
At
acceptable
some
at that
point.
point. They
And then it
accepted
was abolished.
Sure, but until it was abolished, if you're going
And
to
then
go by,
on top of this,
if you're going to
Robot,
appeal to legality, then it was legal, so it's acceptable.
Yeah, the fallacy is just using the legal status of something to prove that it is right or wrong.
Well,
hold on, bro.
only way,
How do you?
The only way that
Sorry,
you
let
can
me just.
argue against AB is to say that it's schmurder, and that's an appeal to legality too, based on the legal definition of schmurder. It's the same thing on the other side.
I
Wait,
don't
Well,
no,
think the
that's
same.
yeah.
he's going against legality because the legality says it has to be a person, and a person has to be born. He's going against legality when he makes his arguments.
But
Yeah.
if it's not schmurder, then why would you morally object to it?
He said that all human lives matter. He didn't say anything about murder.
But
We should
and
protect human life,
but
is what he said.
banning schmurder is how we protect human life, is it not?
No, there are a lot of ways to protect human life.
Correct, but that's how we ban. That's how we take one person from taking the life away from another.
Or we
Also,
just simply don't
just
allow abortion.
let me ask Brobot something because you said you would just appeal to like a different state that had a different legal standard, right? So how do you rectify the disagreements between these states and which one has the moral truth, or at least in your eyes? Like, how would you determine which one is actually right?
I don't make determinations based off a book for morality. I feel that slavery is wrong, me personally. So I would agree with the northern states in that particular instance, or even with Great Britain before the northern states started their abolitionist movement. So now, if we just want to look at the legality of it, I mean, it was illegal in the northern states at the founding of the country. Like we already have those.
Was
So
it legal
we
in
don't have to look
Texas?
at morality at all.
Was it legal in Texas?
No.
It was illegal in Texas at the founding of Texas? Wait, when was
Correct. It
Texas
was
added?
illegal in Texas by the Treaty of Guadalupe. And
When
this
was
was when
Texas?
it was part of Mexico. And then the founding of the Texas Republic, it was still illegal.
Damn it, I was going to tell you have to move. Shit.
It only became accepted as a legal institution when we joined the United States.
Well, fuck, then it was legal. You have to move, dude. You're in the wrong fucking state because your state thought it was okay.
I mean,
He wasn't alive.
ish. I wasn't alive at that time
Yeah, but
anyway,
we're
but
appealing
I
to
don't have to
authority.
move to.
We're appealing to authority or legality for morality, so he can't live in Texas because they didn't
Oh
agree with
no,
it.
But
And
he
he's
like
was
I
trying
said
born
you.
before,
before the law
He's
was
I'm not
he's
appealing to
but
anything for
he's
morality.
but you're appealing to the legal status of the northern states, and these northern states had outlawed it, so that then we're all okay because the northern states had outlawed it. But the fact is that you live in a state today that didn't outlaw it. Then therefore you're doing
no,
something immoral.
but he never lived in a state that didn't
No,
outlaw. He wasn't alive.
never said that was the morality claim. If we use something more colloquial to like where we're living in, like the banning of plants, like MJ specifically, I don't agree with that. But I
Okay,
still
but
live here.
we're
It's
still,
not a
but we're
moral
not, but
justification to
we're
continue
not
living
talking
here.
about that. And the states that you were talking about that made it illegal were states back then, not states today, because every state it's illegal today. So
It's not. Colorado, it's legal.
your appeal. No, I'm not talking about the green stuff. I'm talking about slavery. Your appeal was that the northern states were against slavery and they outlawed slavery. Therefore, slavery was not okay. If that's the appeal that you're going to make, then you're going to have to live in one of those fucking states, not the
Only
state
Well,
you live
if
in right
he
now.
unfortunately,
was alive at
Mojo,
the time that
every
that
state in the
existed.
union still has a prison system, and slavery is still legal in prison systems.
Not here in Colorado. We have outlawed forced labor in
Yeah,
our
but I
prisons in
think
Colorado.
he's saying to be logically consistent. If you were raised in those times, you would have a moral dilemma on your hands.
Well, and
Yeah,
if you're
if
going
you
to
Oh,
use
no
live in
that,
doubt.
that,
and
sure,
if you're going to
no
use
doubt.
that if you're going to use that as an argument, you also have a moral dilemma today.
No, you don't,
Yeah, you do.
because it's banned in all 50 states.
Yeah, but then that's still an appeal to authority and has nothing to do with morality.
It's Can
All
you
it's
not say?
showing is
Can you
that
not say that because we banned it in all 50 states, it's fine to accept the fact that the majority of people in all 50 states were against it?
That's
Do we
not
not
a
draw that conclusion?
that's not a moral statement though.
It
That's just a
absolutely is.
factual legal statement. That's all it is.
But were
yeah,
people not
like
against
Hey,
you.
it because of
I'm
morality to begin
I'm
with?
literally living in that moral dilemma as we speak. I am pro-choice all 9 months, and Texas is one of the states that has banned it as far as they can.
Yeah, that is a dilemma. You shouldn't live there.
That is a dilemma. But Steve, I think all that's just trying to be said is you can't say something is moral because like you appealing to legality, because legality is subject to change, and that would mean that your morals are just as malleable.
I mean, the morals of the subjective morals of the group are malleable. They change over time.
Yeah, I just don't think that laws are moral. I don't think it has to do with morality. I think laws set up rights, and rights don't necessarily have to be moral.
If it all just
Oh,
changes all the time, you really can't. You could just justify anything then.
That's
I
true.
we
mean,
Like
often
you could say this was wrong
the
back then, but it's
collective
correct
can, and
today.
they do.
Thanks, Steven.
Whoa, that's some background.
That the collective can
so
change morality, and they do. That's the system we live in.
No, morality
well
is
for
an individual.
Sinorpheus. Do you
Go
remember
ahead.
the woman in Georgia that was brain unalived and pregnant, early stage pregnancy,
They just
and they
told me
kept
about it, I believe.
they kept the body alive for months trying to bring it to gestation.
And they succeeded. That baby is still around, I think, that child.
Yeah, that's
Um,
kind of a miracle.
with all kinds of complications, but
Yeah, the baby's pretty much damaged.
Would
yeah,
that be morally permissible?
If she's already like unalived, is that what you're asking?
yeah.
Yeah, they first early termination of the pregnancy and delivery because the body was rotting.
Yeah, I think you should treat them as two patients, and if you can save a life, I mean,
Okay, well then, somebody dies in a car accident while another woman is pregnant and in the process of dying. Should we be able to do, if we can do it, should we be able to do a uterine transplant and put it in the body of the woman that is dead from a car accident?
I
Should we be
mean,
able to do that?
the hormones in the other woman that wasn't pregnant would never go wrong.
if we could save human lives using unalived bodies, I mean, I'd have to think
That's
about that.
That's
fucking
fucking
gross.
insane.
What the fuck?
Okay. Another thing I want to point out too is that there's
We
videos
have
out there.
arrived
There's
to the moral turpitude.
We
That
do
is so
that,
I
fucking
also want to
by the
point
gross.
way.
out I want to point out that there's videos out there of like
Shut up. We don't do
of
that, do we?
Yeah, we do it when we do organ harvesting.
Oh, well, but we agreed to it, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I
Go
mean,
ahead, Ibanez. Wait, Ibanez,
so
go
I'll
ahead.
say
Yeah, I
that
think this should
Wait,
just be like
Ibanez,
that. Like
hold
we
on.
should just
Hold
agree to
on.
it.
Hold on. Ibanez, go ahead.
yeah, I want to say that basically, and there's videos out there of the mother's older son basically crying over her body, which is like not alive anymore. It's basically like torture for the entire family. So
this
basically, having that done by via state law is essentially you're basically torturing that family because you want to hold up some kind of moral code for a child that's probably not going to have a good life.
But what if it
They're
was
probably not
the
going to
other
survive.
way? What if it was the other
We
way and the
only have
family wanted
44
to do
people
it?
in here.
And that'll be different, but
Like, what if your wife was declared brain unalived in an accident, and she
but I
was
think
8 months pregnant, or 7 months pregnant, and you wanted to use her corpse, if you will, to carry the baby to term?
if that's the case, I would say two things. Well, yeah, two things. Basically, if the mom signed a document that she wanted to be basically a quote unquote incubator, or
She
if
can't sign it.
or no, I'm
She
saying before, like they say that that was some kind of thing where you sign now, kind of like how you do like organ heart, or like organ,
okay, I got you.
being an organ donor. They say that's something that people sign nowadays. But also take into account that there's still the potential that a baby going from a corpse is not likely to be a baby that's healthy. So is it actually a moral thing to do to basically um, let a child be born in an unhealthy state when it could have been prevented? Because we're not talking about something where like a living woman is like, you know, could potentially have a baby with Down syndrome. We're talking about a situation that will probably cause damage to the baby. So you're allowing the damage to be caused to to for someone to have a very very difficult life.
Can everybody
Maybe yes,
tap
maybe
this?
no.
Hold on, can I ask a question?
Wait, shush. Hold on. Can everybody tap the screen, show the live out? Please tap the screen. I've been live for hours now and I have 4.9K likes. So please tap the screen. Please show the live out.
Look,
Please gift the panel. And please help me with my gift goals. Please.
This is
Thank you.
this is why I brought up the argument of personhood earlier, because when you start giving rights that come with personhood to non-persons, you run into all sorts of problems.
I requested backup because someone said the question, but what if the family wanted something different? And I'm coming up and I'm telling you, the family didn't. The family's first response was to please let her go and not keep her body around for the baby. And that
Well,
was completely ignored. This
we understand that.
situation ultimately the family changed their mind, but this is, you want to talk about force, and I know Galt is gone, but like this is a situation where ultimately this was forced on the family by the state and the hospital, and they eventually said yes, okay. What were they supposed to do, right? Were they supposed to say no, fuck it, we're not going to come back for this baby? Of course they're not going to do that, but the situation was ultimately forced on the family. And this child, even though it's home with its father now, who also had to go through a whole fucking spiel with the court because they weren't actually married. So he had to like go through the courts in order to even get custody of this child. And so like this is financial hardship in addition to whatever medical hardship might come with this forced birth situation. So like I these questions are like, oh, what if the family wanted the opposite? I hear you, and also, but this is what actually happened, and the family didn't want it originally.
No, I get that, but my point with that question was you get into a moral and legal dilemma when you start giving the rights of personhood to non-persons. Are you going to give the rights of personhood to a corpse? That doesn't make any sense. Are you going to give the rights of personhood to a tree or a dog or a cow? That doesn't fucking make any sense. So when you start doing this, you get problems, and that applies to fetuses as well.
I would agree with that. And Mojo, I dropped earlier because I was on the verge of just losing my shit. And I needed to drop myself because I was very angry.
I'm sorry. I tried to allow you to get in there, and then
Oh,
everybody told me you were gone.
yeah. Yeah,
So wait,
I
you
heard you
would
were
think
like,
it's sorry.
Stop!
no,
What the
because
fuck?
I
What?
wasn't talking at all. It's great. That's why I was getting so angry. It's not just that men are involved in the conversation, it's that men are involving themselves in the conversation and have no lack of respect, or have no respect for the women's voice. That's where my issue lies. I have no problem with men wanting to be part of this, but it needs to be in a way that still centers the woman because it is our body.
I agree.
Agree too.
That was directed at Steve, and I don't know, the gross
How is
person
that
that wants
directed
to.
at me? I agree with her.
I understand, but you were interrupting her as much or more than anybody else was.
It doesn't help that I was pretty passionate about it and telling people to fuck off. So there is that. I acknowledge that. But it's a topic where I think sometimes I lose my patience because it always ends up in this, the legality of it, or the philosophy behind it, or what people said about their property 200 fucking years ago and how that compares. And I, as a woman, and maybe this is just me, I'm not speaking for any other women, I'm only speaking for myself, but I, as a woman, feel that that's kind of degrading. Like, we are human beings living today. We shouldn't be talked about in that way all the time. Our voices should be heard in and of itself, and that should matter.
I honestly think my interruptions came from things that were addressed at me, and the point of my interruptions was to say that I'm on your side. I agree.
That's awesome. You have to interrupt
Thank you.
to tell everybody that you're interrupting to tell everybody that you agree.
Yeah, but what's the
That's
point
No,
of
I was
addressing me with a point that I agree with? Like, it doesn't really make sense, but okay.
yeah. The only reason that the 100-year-old stuff was brought up is because if you couch anything in legality, that also means that abortions are no longer federally required to be legal. So states, that means that whatever the law is at today is what's right and what's moral.
On a state by state
Mojo's,
basis.
yeah, Mojo's right, by the way. Like, if you're on the panel, at least send a heart me. And if you're in the room, if I know a lot of you work and listen at the same time, but like a couple of taps when you have the chance would be lovely. The likes are abysmally low for the time that he's been live.
I don't, even though I'm completely pro-choice and don't give a rat's ass about abortion, people having abortions in any way, shape, or form, I don't necessarily know that I'm against Dobbs. Like, I'm not sure that it being a states' rights issue isn't the correct answer. Because
Uh,
if you're going, because you could make a pretty strong argument that it's not directly mentioned in the Constitution, and the Constitution states that anything not directly mentioned in the Constitution is left up to the rights of the states.
then we end up in a situation where we live in a country that will define whether you live or die based on the state that you live in.
But that's the case for 2A things all the time. Like
No, it's not. There's
yeah, it
no
is. You could
there's no life or
unalive.
death. There's no life or death with 2A.
How is there not? People are unalive by it all the time. So
Yeah,
you
but
could
if
unalive,
nobody's allowed to have them, then nobody's allowed to have them.
but that's not the case.
But that is the case.
He's talking about things like castle doctrine. Like, that's not in every state.
No, I'm talking about things like, what sort of things that you're allowed to own. If you're allowed to own this certain something, I'm not going to mention things for TOS reasons, but this certain something in this state, but you're not allowed to own it across the state line, people could be unalived because of that certain something in the other state that would be banned across the state line. Correct?
Okay, no, not correct. As a matter of fact, you are more likely to have your gun used against you than to use it to defend yourself.
That's not what I'm talking about, Mojo.
Nah,
If
gonna need you to prove
AR-15s
that, Mojo.
if
Really?
AR-15s
I
are legal
can.
in one state,
I can
I
prove
got
it.
another one.
if AR-15s are legal in one state and not legal in another, and a mass unaliving is done by AR-15s in that state where that weapon was legally purchased, you're all going to say that it's because of that. But it's because of the state law. It's the same thing, right?
Um, yeah, so we just outlawed everywhere.
More infants are unalived by pew-pews every year than police officers.
You do know that
Yeah,
most
Can I? Oh,
human unalivings happen because of other humans. So should we just start banning humans from existing? That would be the greatest harm reduction.
Yeah, everyone except us.
W humans, W humans. But I did kind of want to touch a little bit on what Steve was saying. And it goes back to a conversation I've had on this panel before, why it's so important to explicitly mention women in the Constitution. because women would be, had that happened, had we explicitly mentioned women, and if what Steve is saying, we follow that it's true that the Constitution mentions that life happens at birth, then women would have rights and women's rights would be trumped over the fetus. But because we don't explicitly mention women in the Constitution, we don't get awarded those same rights. So had men gotten pregnant and had biology switched it around, men would have abortion law in their favor because they're explicitly mentioned in the Constitution.
Well, I mean, I don't think it has to do with man or woman because it doesn't have anything to do with the mother or father. The law would be about the fetus. That's what we're
What's the reference to
legislating.
man directly that you're referencing there?
Women are not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution. Ruth Bader Ginsburg spoke about this ad nauseum while she was alive, about how important it would be to explicitly mention women in the Constitution.
My question
Men
was
aren't either.
Yes, men are. Men are explicitly mentioned in the Constitution.
Okay, so that's my question.
Man is mentioned.
Holy crap! Can I finish my question to her? Where is it that men are specifically mentioned and given these additional rights that leave women out because they aren't specifically mentioned?
Doesn't exist.
No, listen, men only being mentioned in the Constitution. I mean, and by the way, framers argued with their wives about it. The wives, I believe it was it Andrew? I forget who. I'd have to look it up. Where the wives said it would be important to mention women, and they just essentially all laughed at it. But it's not necessarily about like this hierarchy where it says men are given rights, women are not. It's that this is how the law gets manipulated, in which we can say an unborn being that doesn't have any human rights gets to have rights over a woman because her human rights are not explicitly mentioned in the law of the land.
There is no place in the Constitution that's interpreted that way at all. Like that, any reference to like man or the people in general is reference to like, in general, all people. Like the way you would say like a nation of men isn't just referencing men; it's referencing the people of the nation. A lot of the Romance languages do that too. Like if you're referencing a big group of people, it's masculine. There is no place where men are given some sort of right that women aren't. Every right in the Constitution is given to all the people equally at this point now.
The word man as it's used is not synonymous with men. It's short for mankind, which is all people with personhood.
If that were the case, then we wouldn't have the framers' wives explicitly ask, can you mention women in the Constitution? And the framers essentially laugh at it. Let me find that framer who did that, and I'll read their letter out loud to you guys.
But I don't know why that would have anything to do with how we interpret the Constitution today or how it's ever been interpreted.
It doesn't.
It does. And again, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg made this a very important issue to her, and she knows she's dead now, but she knew constitutional law better than anyone on this panel. She was an expert in her field, and she even herself had said multiple times throughout her life how problematic it is to not explicitly mention women in the Constitution.
But it doesn't explicitly mention men either.
Yeah, I just need to like understand what the purpose of that would be if we give all rights that are mentioned in the Constitution to everyone equally, why we would need to mention women. For what purpose would we need to do that if we already give them all the rights that are mentioned in the Constitution?
Not to mention, don't women have to be mentioned in the Constitution? We literally have an amendment that's women's suffrage.
Yes. I would say yes, because we see in the Constitution that all other aspects are enumerated as well.
At the writing of the Constitution, there were a lot of people that were left out, including women.
Well, also race, religion, creed, nationality, like all that stuff had to be put in there. Obviously, we probably do need to name individuals.
Well, they're not explicitly protected in the Constitution. And I do think that that is important, that we did not mention a lot of people that we should have explicitly mentioned.
Well, those people didn't have voting rights at that time, so it didn't make any sense to
And now
mention
they
them.
do. Now they do. Now they do, which
Correct.
is
So
why
you'd have
people
to
like
make.
RBG abdicated for the change in language.
Well, I mean, we did amend the Constitution when we added
Abdicated
women's
or
suffrage.
advocated?
Oh,
I think I
stop.
just heard that
Stop
I
wrong.
always know
Stop,
he's not the only
legislator.
one who
No,
said.
wait, stop. He says legislator instead of legislature. So fuck him.
Well, no, those are the same words. Those are
They're not
synonyms.
the same word.
Abdicated and
They're not the
advocated
same
are two
word.
different ones.
Those are two different words. A legislator is a person. A legislature is a group of people.
Oh, wow. I forgot or added an S at the end of the word.
No, you're
Legislator.
just
Do.
saying it incorrectly. I've tried to correct you many times on it because it drives me crazy, but yet here you do it every fucking time anyway.
Brobot is not the first one on this app.
You guys
I've
ever notice
been
that people say
corrected on
women's
this
plural
multiple
is women?
times, so I understand.
I mean, but am I wrong? Didn't we specifically mention women in the Constitution when we wrote women's suffrage?
No,
That's the whole fucking
no, we
point.
didn't.
Yeah, well,
No,
How
we
did
didn't.
we
We
not?
we only wrote in their right to vote.
that's what women's suffrage is.
Well, yeah, which is women
Yeah, so that doesn't
explicitly
extend
mentioned in
all.
the Constitution.
So
No, it doesn't.
I just looked up what Ruth Bader Ginsburg was speaking of. She was referencing her support for the Equal Rights Amendment.
Mhm.
She was not saying that the way the Constitution is written now, it maligns women and in favor of men. She was saying that specifically the Equal Rights Amendment, which is like an actual attempt to get an amendment put in, was something that she supported.
Yeah, that's part of it. But she also did say that there is no explicit language that guarantees equality based on sex written in the Constitution, and that leaving out of that explicit language would leave less room. Would it would leave more room for discrimination. She did explicitly say this many a times.
Well, as it relates to the Bill of Rights, it uses the word man, which does in fact mean both. So I don't see what the difference is.
We also, provide protection for equal protection is based on gender, based on our current jurisprudence, as well as a list of other things. And strict scrutiny is applied when rights are impacted based on those things.
Yeah, but women are added as a special class, though.
Oh my God, you don't want to set that argument.
That's the way it is in the Constitution. Women are a special class. That's pretty wild, don't you think?
Well, how do you mean, like,
Men are just normal. I mean, they're just the normal human beings. Women are a special class that gets special protections.
where are women given special protections? So she said they weren't given any protections.
What is strict scrutiny?
Strict scrutiny is the jurisprudential philosophy in determining whether or not a governmental action is appropriate when it abridges a fundamental liberty.
Of specific classes, yes?
So depending on the nature of the right, whether it's a fundamental right or non-fundamental right, and the type of impact it has on what group.
There you go, the group.
That determines.
That is a class. That is a protected class. That is what women have been relegated to.
Well,
in
so
the
it's not like women are the class. It's like race is the class, ethnicity is the class, gender is the class.
Sex, yes.
Right, yes. So
yeah,
it would be,
but we're talking about women because we're not talking about men when you say sex.
But it actually would be. I mean, in the same way that they've interpreted laws that impact race, that race could be white or that race could be a minority race. It still is subjected to strict scrutiny if it does anything on the basis of race. But I did misspeak because gender is actually given intermediate scrutiny, not strict scrutiny, which is odd, but it's like a weird carve out. Only based on the idea that like there are actual differences between men and women, like biologically, and so there may be a purpose for a law to say, for instance, to have like a abortion law that would, differentiate women because they have a uterus, right? So they're given what's called intermediate scrutiny.
So, is there intermediate scrutiny when we have a prostate and you don't? Like,
Yeah, if they had a law on prostates, that law would be judged based on intermediate scrutiny.
What is
that's
scrutiny?
weird.
What did you say? What is scrutiny?
I said, what is scrutinary? Because he
What
misspoke
is
and asked someone about it earlier.
scrutiny?
That's a
Scrutiny.
doctor
Does that help
that
you?
works. That's a doctor that works on scrutiny.
A scrutinarian?
Yeah, yeah.
So, would a scrutinarian be working on humans or animals?
Humans. Animals don't get rights.
He would be doing it very carefully, though.
There are animals with uteruses
Biology?
and prostates, so
Yeah, but they don't have rights.
Aren't all of them
that
They
makes
granted
sense.
should.
Well, they do have
They should.
rights. They don't have personhood rights that come with
dolphins
personhood. They do have
dolphins
rights.
are granted
Well, yeah,
dolphins are
and
granted
I would
personhood.
actually agree with Steve there. We don't have the ASPCA for nothing.
Well, we have
And
endangered species that are protected. They would have rights, i.e., the right to life.
Well,
and
your actual house animals, the domesticated ones, they are governed, and there is a law body that protects them.
But they don't have
Which
human rights. Hardy har har.
Trump, which Trump actually changed animal crimes from misdemeanors to felonies as well.
India is a primary nation that classified dolphins with personhood or non-human persons. And there's
One of
some
the
indigenous tribes. Hmm?
very small list of good things that he did.
That's one of many nations that did that. And I think there's some indigenous